What's up everyone, how are you all? Today we are back with another blazing Naruto story. What if Naruto gets Artemis' daughter pregnant? If you enjoy then please like, share and do comments. And also check the description box to original creator of this beautiful creation. A marriage? The young child said, looking up at the male who was taking him to a nice home. The male was older, and by older he was very much old. About 60-year-old. The child looked at the door and was waiting for anybody to answer. Yes, somebody to protect you, so you don't have to keep running away on your birthdays, Naruto-kun. The young child named Naruto blinked calmly. What does a marriage have to do with keeping me protected? The 10-year-old didn't get it. He had been running for his life every day since he could walk. He wasn't sure why everybody didn't like him, but it didn't matter. Everything in nature loved him. He didn't need to understand people. He just had to understand the animals that gathered to him as if he was the mother of all animals. Having a clan will make you untouchable. You can start learning how to be a ninja so you become Hokage. Naruto blinked, his bright eyes looked as the door was slowly opening and with amazing timing. Naruto hasn't been able to tell the old bastard that he definitely didn't want to be Hokage. He was content living in the land with the animals that loved him as much as he loved them. Naruto looked as the door opened and there was a tall man. Lavender eyes, and he had 3 children standing next to him. 2 girls and a boy. The older male examined the child as if he was a piece of meat before speaking. Hello Naruto-kun, have you packed your belongings? The male asked. He was generally more commanding, but something about Naruto just made him want to speak softly. The 3 children shared a look, but nobody voiced a thing. They all stood the same way, as they looked at the child who looked bright but calm. Naruto looked at the male and then to the Hokage, who didn't want to look at the child. Naruto blinked. He was very good at reading movements if anything. So he calmly pulled his hand away and looked to the male with lavender eyes. I was unaware I would be living here now. The 10-year-old spoke before he sighed and scratched his hair. Though it isn't like there was anything I could bring, I haven't been able to get anything I need due to the humans hating me. Naruto spoke honestly, while everybody looked at him. That must suck, the youngest said without thinking about what she was saying. The 10-year-old shrugged and really wished they could take this off the porch. As if Hiruzen read his mind, he spoke. Hiashi, why don't we talk about the fine details and let the children get accustomed? They will be family from here on out. Hiruzen said, and Hiashi nodded and led the Hokage and Naruto in. Naruto walked in and took his shoes off at the door. The door closed and he immediately felt caged. A sensation of him being trapped, and he very much disliked it. He looked everywhere. Because the Hyugas are very much ignoring him anyways, he decided he would leave and go sit in nature. Izoran and Hiashi talked, and at first it was talks of pairing Hinata and Naruto together. Hiashi then blinked and looked as Neji walked around the clan home, searching for something that the 2 girls didn't seem to care about. I believe we should have him marry Neji. He can have kids, no? Hiashi asked Izoran. The older male sighed. Yes, Naruto could. He was an Uzumaki. Even though he had some traits of the Namikaze clan, he was still very much a Uzumaki. Why? Izoran said. The fact that Hiashi wanted somebody for Hinata. His heir, and so he was confused. Neji wasn't his heir, but somebody he took from the second branch of the Hyugas whose eyes were perfect. Neji was brought in from the branch family to become head. He doesn't know, but his eye prowess is far better than Hinata's and Hanabi's. Pairing Naruto with Hinata would be an inefficient way to progress the Hyuga clan. Hiashi spoke honestly, his daughters on the couch talking about a scroll they read. Neji strolled over to the table and was about to speak, but Hiashi cut him off. Neji, how would you feel if Naruto became your wife? Hiashi asked the 11-year-old honestly. The 11-year-old blinked because this threw him off his train of thought, though he spoke honestly. If it's for the clan, I'll do it, Neji said before walking away, forgetting what he even walked over there to say. Then we have a deal. The Hyuga clan will protect and favor that child in exchange that Naruto married Neji and bears prodigy children for the clan. Izoran had no choice but to sign. He did have custody over Naruto, though if he could pick a husband for Naruto, it would have been the Nara heir, though with Shikaku's and Minato's very lengthy past. He quickly denied when his wife was standing right next to him. With that signed, Hinata walked her way to her room to was up before dinner. Izoran stood and wanted to say goodbye for now to the little nature freak, whose chakra he couldn't sense at the moment, and sighed. He didn't know Naruto could hide his chakra already. The 10-year-old was laying down by a tree, sleeping calmly as a few animals from the surrounding forest came and slept with the child. Hiyashi and Izoran walked to the back door. They opened it and stepped out and looked out on the grass. They saw the 10-year-old with his companions and Hiyashi hummed. "This is what you've given me. A child that is attached to animals." Izoran smoked his pipe, gazing out at the child he neglected in favor of neglecting the village, and spoke. "Who knows what that attachment might lead to?" Izoran responded as they watched the child sleep contentedly. Naruto walked the unfamiliar home. He still didn't talk to anybody, and it doesn't seem like anybody was doing anything that was going to protect him. He had realized he was alone, and that he hasn't seen any of the children. He continued walking until he heard grunts. He peeked inside the door and saw Neji and Hinata fighting, though it looked like it wasn't serious. Though he could clearly tell that Neji was winning. The girl didn't even look as if she wasn't trying. Naruto's eyes calculated back and forth, and there was a male that hummed behind the child. It didn't quite scare Naruto, but he turned around and saw Hiyashi. He turned back around and continued to watch. "Your eyes look calculating, Naruto-kun." Naruto nodded and spoke to the man. "The girl isn't trying. I apologize for being blunt, but I can tell." Naruto stopped. He looked at Neji. He looked bored, as if this wasn't a challenge. "I'm unaware of why the girl is limiting her powers. I know why the boy is, because the girl isn't up to his standards, but the girl has no reason to." Hiyashi was intrigued. How could he tell when somebody was holding back their chakra? "How can you tell? You must have a real knack for chakra sensing. It might even surpass ours." Naruto blinked. He shook his head and spoke. "You all can see chakra points. I can only feel chakra producing. If I hone in on a signature, I can tell how much chakra is being produced, and if they are fighting, and I can feel how much chakra is being spent versus what could be spent." Naruto said, and Hiyashi marveled at the child. "Who taught you that?" Hiyashi was sure that there was nobody in the village that would touch Naruto with a 10-foot pole, let alone train him. "The animals. They gathered to me. They also call me Artemis." Naruto hadn't learned what that meant, but he went along with his business. "Would you like to try and spar with Neji? Maybe you can get that bored look off his face," Hiyashi said, and Naruto shrugged. He did a little sparring with some animals, though he could modify it to fit a human. He took off his sandals and knocked while opening the door. "Pardon the intrusion, Neji-san and Hinata-san." Naruto said. He wasn't friendly with them, so he used the only honorable honorific. Though the way he said Hinata was phrased as a question, as if he didn't know if that was her name. Hiyashi followed after, and Naruto, he spoke calmly. "Hinata, why don't you take a break? Neji will spar with his bride." Hinata looked clearly annoyed at that notion, though she quickly fixed her face and spoke. "Neji is training me to be better. It's our training time." The way she said "our" made Naruto take a step back. He watched as her chakra suddenly mirrored that of a lion. "I know you aren't afraid of a lion," a voice said. Naruto blinked as he listened to the daughter and father speak to one another. "You are a fox, and even before that you are a goddess. You gather and reign over the animals. You are the boss, not some lion." Naruto knew that was true. He was the leader. People fall in line behind him. "You show people who is in charge. Why the animals call you Artemis?" That gave Naruto a sudden boost. He spoke calmly and enunciated every word. "I'm sorry, Hinata-san." Though Neji-san looked bored, and so I believed maybe he should spar with somebody that doesn't share the same techniques as him. Very calmly, Naruto let loose his chakra that made Hinata's eyes widened, but Neji and Hiyashi didn't feel a single rise. "Are you fine with that, Neji-san?" Naruto asked after he proved his point, and Neji nodded. Naruto hummed a little. He wasn't sure how he would manage against somebody like Neji, though he would try. Naruto watched as Neji got in a stance after Hiyashi and Hinata gotten off the mat. Naruto nodded, and he just did what he did best. Sense the chakra. So he quickly moved as the last second to miss a palm to his heart. Brutal, to go after your heart so early. Naruto blinked and dodged the hands. He hasn't been touched by those biased hands yet. He watched as the male tried to calculate just what Naruto could use, though all Naruto knew was taijutsu. That all the animals could teach him. So he quickly kept dodging, and so when the male realized he wasn't getting anywhere with taijutsu, that's when a little smirk popped up. Naruto hummed, and he watched as the male calmed his breathing. Naruto felt the chakra move around his body. "Help?" Naruto asked mentally, because there was somebody talking to him. "Sure." The voice answered, and the minute Neji went to hit Naruto, there was a chakra wall in his way. Though he couldn't see it, it was extreme faint. He was sure Hiashi could see it. Hiashi did indeed see the faint lines of blue cover Naruto like a blanket. No chakra seemed to access the wall, which meant any chakra-based attacks wouldn't work on Naruto. The animals really did gift the Hyuga clan with something special. I'll train you with your powers gifted from the lands. You'll be a force to be reckoned with, Artemis. Naruto frowned. My name is Naruto. Naruto said as he bowed to Neji. Neji blinked but watched Naruto walk away. In this life you are Naruto. In a past life you were Artemis. Naruto only slipped back on his sandals and headed to talk with this voice about whatever this Artemis nonsense was. Naruto enjoyed training with a fox. He would often sneak out of the clan and head to the forest of death where the animals would protect him until he could protect the animals. It was a nice balance they had, so he could learn how to hunt and how to use his powers the way he was meant to use them. He thanked the entity that was guiding him through this. Don't thank me. You will have the burden of restoring the lands and the animals in it. Naruto didn't think it would be a big deal. He was sure that he would visit each village at least once, and so he made it a decision to hit each part of the lands when he left the village. I should be fine. Though I should really learn how to braid up my hair. Naruto said out loud because he knew nobody was around to hear him. His growing spiky blonde hair just got in the way whenever he was hunting and or practicing his taijutsu. You don't wish to put up in the ponytail? The entity asked. He knew exactly what was going to be said, but he asked this question for generations and generations. No, braiding is more secure and will allow me to be as wild as I want without having to see my hair in my face again. Naruto responded again, and the voice chuckled. I am Kurama. Throughout the years my title and my identity has changed, however. I was Artemis Fox who traveled the world with her. Naruto blinked calmly. I was a normal fox, though to keep me alive as long as her she made me immortal, which translated to demon as the years went on. Naruto frowned. Everybody that has Artemis' soul has always belonged to the Uzumaki clan. The woman who I walked through life with before was Mito, though she didn't embrace it as much as you have. Kurama said, and Naruto hummed. Well, I believe that the earth needs protection, and if they believed I was the one person who could protect it, why not take on the responsibility? Naruto asked as he waved to the animals. It was starting to get late and he needed to get back to the Hyuga clan. The looks and the words and the curses. Naruto couldn't tell what they were being so spiteful towards him about, though it didn't matter. When they all realized how great of a goddess he would be, they had no choice but to be kind and dare Naruto even say worship him. Die, monster. Naruto looked to his left and seen something being thrown at him. He rolled his eyes and caught it. A kunai with an explosive tag on it. Calmly he took the kunai and tossed it so high in the air that when the tag exploded, smoke covered the air but nothing was hurt nor damaged. Careful, Naruto said with a smile at the villager who threw that at him. If I wasn't as trained as I was, that wouldn't have killed only me. You would have killed those innocent children walking behind me. Naruto ushered to the children who were looking at the explosion with a happy smile. The innocent who thought those were merely fireworks. The villager paled before they turned and headed back to their place of business. Naruto looked down at the children and immediately felt the emotion of absolute unadulterated love. The pureness of those children made his heart warm. Artemis was also the goddess of childbirth and midwifery. You should learn some healing techniques fitted to your taijutsu. Naruto nodded as he stumbled upon the home. He saw Hinata with her friend Sakura. They were really close. Though Hinata disliked Naruto for whatever reason, but the 11-year-old didn't care. She was mad that Neji wasn't hers anymore. Though Naruto was unsure if Neji even wanted to be married. Though they are young, and nothing needs to be done or figured out now. It is the fact that Naruto only talks to Hiashi and then heads to bed. Naruto walked past the girls and he heard one of them whisper. Demon. He kept walking, but Kurama said something else. You know, Artemis was also able to infect women with diseases and heal them of it as well. Kurama said as if it was something Naruto should do, though Naruto only turned around. I'm not a demon. If I was, I wouldn't have been married into the clan. Isn't that right, Hinata? Naruto said, dropping the honorific. Hinata looked upset and Naruto hummed. Get better in your skills as a kunyachi and pray Neji will look your way, honey. Naruto said as he watched both of their mouths drop. See you for dinner. Naruto said as he headed to his room. He calmly walked the wooden tiles to his room as he heard Neji speaking. "You don't seem like you care that you are married?" A voice said, though it was somebody in the clan. "Because I don't. We seem to agree that a marriage isn't something that at this age we should worry about." Neji replied to his cousin. He calmly sighed and looked up. "Well, what about a friendship?" Naruto had felt like he has heard enough and left, stepping on a creaky tile to signal that he is walking by. He continued to his journey and washed his body in the shower. When he got out the shower and sat in front of the mirror, he looked at his hair. As if he didn't need any further explanation, he started to braid his hair as if he had always known how to do it. Kurama looked through Naruto's eyes for a second and just closed his eyes back. Though while each response was the same, the way they braided their hair signified which animal would be their hunting companion. The crown braid, where their hair is braided to symbolize their place in society, which means the highest rank of companion that Kurama has seen since Artemis herself was goddess, would be Naruto's companion as well. Naruto looked at himself in the mirror and he nodded. This was how his hair needed to be done. This made him feel a lot more calm. "It's time for dinner, Naruto-chan," Hanabi said, looking at Naruto. Naruto turned around and immediately softened at the young girl. "Thank you, Hanabi-chan. Let's go eat, yeah?" The little 5-year-old latched onto Naruto. Much like an animal when she warmed up to him, she never wanted to be separated from him. "Can you braid my hair too?" Naruto looked at the young girl and smiled. "Yeah, we can put some flowers in your hair too. How does that sound?" Hanabi nodded gratefully as they stumbled upon dinner with the family. Naruto was excited. He was now 12 and he started the academy, though that isn't what he was excited about. He was ready for his companion to come to him. Though Kurama said it might take a while because there wasn't much animals of that type in the Leaf Village. "The animal will be drawn to your chakra," Kurama said as he could sense Naruto overthinking it. Calmly, Naruto dressed in attire that felt good to him. He wore a shorts and a shirt that looked like a dress and it flowed in the wind. "Can't you tell me what it is?" Naruto asked, strapping his knives to his legs. When he becomes a ninja he would upgrade his attire a little. Naruto was speaking out loud because nobody was around. He usually did so when he knew he wouldn't have to explain who he was talking to, cause the answer would always be himself. "I could, but why would I?" Naruto groaned a little. He walked into the main hall and spoke his greetings to everybody. Hiyashi was sitting by himself and so Naruto walked over to keep the older man company. "You look like a wild child," Hiyashi spoke, though he didn't mean anything bad by it. Naruto was a wild child. He'd come home smelling like the lands, and was seen training with animals in the Forest of Death by Hiruzen. "Thank you. When I become a ninja you should see my attire then," Naruto said, blessing the meal and then eating it. Though his looks make it seem like he would pig out, Naruto ate gracefully, as if he was a goddess. Naruto tended to ignore the Hyuga kids. Hiyashi let him do what he wanted, and that was to train on his own accord, and that is why he didn't talk to them. Well, Hinata didn't like him, and that wasn't something Naruto was losing sleep over. Hanabi adored him, but would often be afraid to speak up in the presence of her sister. Though Neji was the one he couldn't read. They sparred once a year ago, and then nothing else. Naruto wasn't sure if Neji had a goal or what, but Neji seemed hell-bent on achieving something before he gave anybody the time of day. "I'm sure you'll look as if you've lived among nature all your life," Hiyashi said. Calmly he looked at Naruto to see him standing and nodding. He looked to the Hyuga children and waved to them, heading the walk to school. The breakfast hall was now quiet and Hiyashi continued to eat. He heard slamming and looked up from his meal. His eldest daughter looked absolutely livid. "Father, how could you let an outsider marry Neji?" she asked. She was the clan's joy and hope and believed that she could have Neji. However, Hiyashi went and married Neji and Naruto together. There is no way she could compete now. She wouldn't dare stoop so low to where she becomes a heathen like the little wild animal Naruto was. Though how could Neji just throw away their fate like that? Did Neji believe that he didn't belong with Hinata like Hinata thought he did? Neji looked up from his meal and sighed. He didn't care who he married, there was one thing he wanted to obtain, and until that goal was met he didn't care about anybody. "Lady Hinata," Neji said calmly, standing up and speaking again. "Calmly get over yourself and find another that will love that personality of yours," Neji said, but all it did was make Hinata boldly declare, "I don't care how long it takes, you will be mine's Neji." Neji looked to Hinata and turned back and walked away. He had to meet his team, as loud and obnoxious as they were. He would be able to get stronger with them. Naruto knew that he would definitely be outcasted on his first day. Hateful parents definitely would raise their child the same way. Though the minute he stepped in the class there was a brown-haired boy yelling and looking around the room. "You, come tell Shikamaru that dogs have the best ears in the world." The boy named Shikamaru looked to the blonde and sighed. "Great, another loud person," Shikamaru said, and the blonde hummed. "I can get loud, though I'm a generally calm person. I'm Naruto, by the way." Shikamaru sighed happily. He didn't think he could deal with two Kibas, one was enough. "Actually, it's moths," Naruto said calmly, sitting with the boys despite his feminine appearance. He looked as the male with sunglasses on smirked. "I told you, dogs don't have the best ears in the world. While it's better than humans, it isn't the best," Shikamaru said, yawning, laying his head down as the chubby boy next to him chuckled. I'm Choji Akamichi. This is Shikamaru Nara, that is Kiba Inuzuka and Shino Aburame." The boys waved to Naruto and Naruto smiled. "Hello, thank for having me. I've never really had friends that weren't animals," Naruto said. "You look like you've grown up in the forest," Choji commented, though he got nods from both Shino and Kiba seeing as Shikamaru was asleep. "I did, then the Hyuga clan took me in," Naruto said, shrugging. "They didn't really take him in. He was married off, but nobody needed to know that. Him and Neji didn't even speak to one another." "You got taken in by a clan. Were you an orphan?" Kiba asked loudly, and Shikamaru opened his eyes. "I am. That is why they were able to do it. The clan is a little uptight, but Hiyashi is nice to me and lets me do what I want," Naruto said, confiding in people he had just met, though like moths to a flame. They were all intrigued with the cute little orphan. The minute Naruto and his newfound friends shared a laugh, Naruto could sense nasty chakra in the room. He knew it belonged to Hinata and so he ignored it. The woman just didn't have enough balls or chakra to take him on. "Hello class. I'm your teacher Iruka. Please take your seats." The class took their seats, and looked to the teacher as they called roll. "Hinata Hyuga. Here," she called out, and then he nodded. "Naruto Hyuga." Naruto blinked and spoke. "It's just Naruto. It's not Hyuga yet," Naruto said calmly. He hated to be rude, but the sound of Hyuga after his name didn't sit well with him. Especially since he didn't speak or befriend Neji yet. "Oh, I apologize. Just Naruto then." Naruto nodded and rolled his eyes. He calmed when he felt Kiba patting his hair and he smiled a toothy grin. "Hey Naruto. I'm here to pick you up." Naruto hadn't even managed to make it out of the Hyuga clan when he heard that. There was only one person in his friend group that was loud like that. Naruto was leading the two older Hyugas. Well, really, Naruto left first and Hinata and Neji had talked about something behind Naruto. They both stopped their small bickering as they heard that. "Not only you mutt," an annoyed voice said, yawning after that sentence. "Naruto, I brought some chips." A happy voice cheered, and there was a soft voice of Naruto. Hinata scoffed when she heard the commotion. She couldn't believe Naruto was so popular. How could they all like the wild child who wore girl clothes and looked as if he slept outside? Naruto always wore shorts that had a skirt to it, and a shirt that allowed wind to flow through it. Though as Hinata and Neji exited the clan, they saw Naruto the 12-year-old standing shorter than his male peers. He was 5 feet 2 compared to them being 5 feet 4 and or 5 feet 5. "Here, I got this for you," Kiba said, handing Naruto some flowers to place in his hair. Naruto smiled a little and Shino took them mutely and placed them in his hair. "Does Naruto getting doted on like this usually?" Neji asked, a little frustrated that he was working his ass off training and his bride was too busy being doted on to sharpen his skill. "Always. They don't see him for who he really is. A thief." Neji rolled his eyes. "Hinata, the chance of us marrying is literally zero and I need you to understand that," Neji said in a much more sour mood now since he is looking at Naruto smiling and it isn't because of him. "It's not like you talk to Naruto. He might marry somebody other than you and when he does I'll be here," Hinata said, seeing Sakura and walking off. "We're having dinner at my house tonight. Can you make it?" Shikamaru asked, walking with over to give Naruto his reassuring head pats. "Of course," Hiyashi said. "It was fine," Naruto said as they started walking to school. Naruto was in the middle as the four boys talked and Naruto placed his 2 cents in. Neji blinked and headed to his training with his team, trying to forget what he just seen. He had to keep reminding himself that he is 13. There is no attraction from them yet, they are just friend. Though even in the middle of his training, Neji's mind just kept drifting to Naruto and how 4 men seemed to be obsessed with his bride. He was so unfocused, he ended up going a little harder than usually against his teammates and still felt like he didn't go hard enough. Neji complained, moving to isolate himself because he definitely couldn't deal with his emotions right now. Naruto, however, was having so much fun. He followed his friends to Shikamaru's house after school. The group was told not to make too much noise because Shikamaru's father might be sleeping. Though the door opened and Shikamaru's father was being lectured by Shikamaru's mother. The 4 boys laughed, but Shikamaru sighed. "I'm home and I brought some friends." The yelling stopped and Shikamaru's mother smiled calmly. She looked to the kids, recognizing them all, and she smiled. Hello. You all look like your parents." Naruto looked between them. "I don't have any parents. At least nobody knew my parents." The woman gasped and closed her mouth. She bit her lip and spoke. "I'm sorry honey, you look like somebody I knew. But make yourself at home. I'm Yoshino Nara." She fixed and quickly led the children in and Shikaku sighed. "Try not to make too much noise, I'm going to sleep." Shikaku said, and Shikamaru looked to Naruto. "Want to play shogi? I can teach you." Shikaku stopped in his tracks and Yoshino peeked her head from the kitchen. They looked at one another and then to who their son was talking to. "Really? You favor me, Shikamaru," Naruto said, walking over, smiling, showing his canines and making his whisker marks deepen like dimples. Shikamaru blinked as the surrounding teens had to look away from the son. "It's a drag, but I'll do it for you." Yoshino raised a brow and Shikaku returned it. Naruto nodded as Shikamaru started explaining the rules and how to move each piece. Shino sat on the couch with Kiba resting his head on Shino's lap. Choji sat on the couch and had Kiba's legs across his lap. They watched Naruto and Shikamaru play a few test games and then they had a serious game. "Hey Naruto." Kiba was wondering, he had been thinking about it. "Yes," Naruto said, moving a piece. He didn't move his eyes from the board, looking at Shikamaru's move. "Your relation to the Hyuga clan, what is it?" Naruto didn't hesitate, he moved a piece and spoke calmly. "I've married into it. Neji is my husband," Naruto said. Shikamaru's hand shakes a little before placing his piece down. He decided to speak. "Why Neji?" He was curious. There were a lot of people their age. Hell, one of them in their group could have been Naruto's husband. "I'm not sure. The old Hokage said I needed to be married into a clan to be protected. Though nobody said what I needed to be protected from, and I ended up in the clan married to Neji." There was silence before Shino hummed. "That's why Neji was staring at us as if we were scum." Shino said, remembering the look Neji was giving, and Choji ate a chip. "Yeah, Neji doesn't like us." Naruto placed the queen down and spoke calmly. "You all are my friends. Neji doesn't get a say in who I hang with." Naruto looked Shikamaru in the eyes and spoke again. "By the way, checkmate Shikamaru." Shikamaru examined the board and sighed. "Neji doesn't have a say in my social life, so let's keep being friends, yeah?" Naruto said, looking at everybody, watching as they all smiled and agreed. "Look at them, attached to a goddess." Naruto smiled warmly at his friends, but his inner thought that answered Kurama's rang out in his mind. As they should, Artemis was heard to favor some people for the sake of peace. Naruto chuckled as Choji ruffled his hair. "These are my people," Naruto said calmly as Kiba found something to rant about. Naruto was in class and he tuned it out. He always did. Today he sat in between Shikamaru and Choji. Kiba and Shino sat next to one another. Iruka was going on about battle strategies and different types of shinobi. To say Naruto didn't care would be a huge understatement. He did what he had to do based on what he felt in the lands. He only listened to the winds and his feelings. So he didn't need to think long and hard about a situation where he could easily fix it or find the solution basically. "You look bored. You should take a nap like Shikamaru," Choji whispered. Naruto blinked. He would, but he felt as though something was going to happen and so he kept his eyes open. Though Naruto a male of instinct and was usually right. Though he started to doubt himself until, very loudly, there was the sound of glass shattering. Everybody looked to the window and Shikamaru's head lifted up quickly. There was a fox looking around in the room. It calmly made its way over to Naruto. It moved, jumped on the table and lay down. Closing its eyes, it was seen to fall asleep on the desk. Naruto ran his hand up and down the fur of the fox. I'm sorry, usually the animals know I'm in school. Naruto apologized. The teacher merely looked at the window and nodded his head, though he didn't know if he could continue or just end class here and worry about the window damage. We will just continue. Please pay attention, is what Iruka said, but then more animals were gathering to Naruto and so he realized nothing would get done until this window got fixed and so he dismissed the class. Naruto, please tell the animals not to disrupt class. Growing kids need to learn. Iruka said, a little annoyed, but all Naruto did was flash him a smile that made him soften much like the rest of the class. I'm sorry, of course I will. Naruto looked at the fox and spoke calmly. Time to leave, Ran. Naruto called to the fox who answered. He yawned and made a small mule. He then hopped off the table and walked with Naruto. Naruto, who was being picked on for being a nature freak by his friends, only rubbed the back of his neck in embarrassment. Stop embarrassing me. You all know I attract animals, Naruto said, and Shino hummed lowly. And men, which earned nods from Naruto's immediate friends. You are just one with nature, nobody is blaming you. It must be cool being close to animals like you are, Shikamaru said to compliment the blonde without actually complimenting the blonde. Naruto first walked over the animals and scolded them lightly. His friends looked amused at the fact that he was able to communicate with animals and they seemed to know exactly what he was saying. Naruto then smiled warmly as the sun was beating on everybody. Him and his friends were talking again to see what they wanted to do since they managed to get out of school. Though there were footsteps approaching, though the group of 5 ignored it until Naruto turned away from Shino, who had his attention, and looked to the person who called him. He could feel his friends standing behind him just looking at Neji. Hello, did Hiyashi need me for something? Naruto asked, walking a little closer to Neji. Neji looked at Naruto's friends with a look of superiority. I was wondering if you want to spar with me. Naruto blinked. He folded his arms looking at the Hyuga. This doesn't have anything to do with the fact that you don't like my friends, does it? Neji didn't say anything. How could he say anything when he didn't want Naruto to talk to the male population at all? Though it's not like Neji wanted to settle down at 13. He was young and so was his 12-year-old bride. I don't know your friends, Neji said, though he had an inkling because Hinata was obsessed on hating Naruto. Neji was confused because he told Hinata that he would never be interested in her, but the woman was stubborn. Do you want to meet them? Naruto said, blinking. Naruto looked at Neji to see him sighing in defeat. Then can I steal you for a spar, please? Neji basically begged. Naruto thought it was cute and nodded his head. Ran, this is Neji. My intended, Naruto said to the fox. The golden fox looked up at Neji. Neji waved awkwardly, and Ran looked back to Naruto. Ran didn't say a word, but he didn't have to. Naruto knew he was calling his intended uptight. He is. Naruto agreed and Neji tilted his head. He believed Naruto just loved animals, to have a conversation with them. This is Neji, Naruto said, bringing Neji over. Neji spoke calmly. Nice to meet you all, Neji said, but he didn't hold his hand out. He waved calmly and the 14 looked at Neji. Shikamaru and Choji, Shikamaru said, though he wasn't in the slightest bit happy. Kiba and Shino, Kiba said, and Naruto looked between them. Get along for me, yeah? Naruto asked, and though they looked like they hated the idea. Here is their little bundle of nature giving them a smile, and so they all relaxed and nodded to please the young boy. Of course. See you tomorrow? Kiba said happily, though it held a questioning tone to it. Naruto nodded and waved to his friends. They all relaxed at the smile as he and Neji walked off. TCH, Shikamaru said, and Shino hummed. Yes, we know, Shino said, and Choji frowned a bit. He isn't ours, Choji said, eating a chip, and all 4 of them agreed. Though all 4 of them wished they could occupy the blonde's time all the time. Neji and Naruto walked back into the clan, having small talk on their likes and dislikes, though Naruto can say there is something that is pulling him to Neji. Though it's very light, and if Naruto wasn't focusing on it, he wouldn't be able to sense it that well. You've gotten better, still making me use my brain and energy in a spar, Neji complimented, though his face didn't change. They were on the mat they spared on almost a year ago. Isn't that the whole point? To get better as you get older? There is no such thing as being the strongest, there is always that's going to be stronger than you. The point is to be able to combat people who don't move like you, Naruto said, looking into Byakugan-activated eyes. Spoken like a ninja who has seen the world already. Neji said, and Naruto hummed. Naruto fell silent and Neji believed it was something that he said, though the air didn't tense and it felt the same, so he continued to spar, all the while Hiyashi watched them from the little crack in the door. Naruto hardly found himself alone, though for some reason all his friends were busy today. He wasn't sure why, but all he did was head to the forest to train with Ran. This was his companion and he knew he could talk, but like Kurama had told him, Ran will talk when he trusts you. Which is what all the other animals did when he was growing up. Though the pull is there and their chakra were similar, and so Naruto typically laid on the forest floor with the other animals gathering to him. Ran, it's my birthday. Naruto felt the fox lay on his chest, and Naruto petted him. Yeah, I don't feel as though I'm ready to start repairing the lands. Naruto voiced to the fox laying on him. Naruto sighed calmly, as he looked up at the sky. Being in nature soothed him, he was calm. He wished he could stay in nature forever. He wished he could live off the lands forever. You think I'm ready? I know I have to harness a little more power, but as I'm ready, right? Naruto said, not expecting an answer, though he heard Ran shuffle to move his head and nuzzle into Naruto's cheek, boldly declaring, You are more than ready, Artemis. Naruto smiled faintly. He hugged Ran and Kurama hummed within him. You've managed to make Ran open up to you. In only a matter of a few months. That's good, Naruto. Thank you, Ran, thank you for trusting me. I don't want to let you down. Naruto said, pulling away. Ran yawned, which shocked through his muzzle, and spoke calmly. You won't, now isn't it getting a little late? Naruto looked and nodded, wondering where the day had gone, and ushered the fox back to the Hyuga clan. Now the looks that Naruto had always received never did stop, it just lessened. A lot of people didn't even care about him anymore. Naruto was so unproblematic that you couldn't even hate the child. Even if he had the 9 tails sealed within him. Though the people who still hated the child were encouraged to do so, they continued even when a majority of the village couldn't care less about the child who laughed with his friends and occasionally sparred with Neji. So when Naruto managed to make it home, the clan waved to him and spoke their birthday wishes. Ran stuck close to him as his tail waved back and forth. Hey Naruto, let's have a spar. Neji said, though he wasn't dressed for a spar, and Naruto didn't really want to because he already trained earlier. Now Neji, I understand you want to get stronger, but I don't want to. Naruto whined, which made Neji tilt his head. A pout on the wild child's face was a little too much for the 14-year-old Neji to handle. Just come with me then. Naruto closed his eyes but nodded. Neji just had to be all about Naruto today. Their relationship was getting a little better. It was really based on spars and offhanded compliments. Naruto hadn't learned anything personal about Neji, and Naruto thinks that Neji isn't trusting of him yet, which is fine. Naruto would rather Neji not spill his secrets just because they are married. Though Neji seemed to always get jealous and or annoyed when Naruto hung out with his friends, especially when Shikamaru or Shino touched him, and he usually voiced that when they spared. That bug and deer keep touching you, Neji would say it casually. Naruto would raise a brow but would ultimately say, They are my friends, Neji, nothing more. Though it didn't calm Neji down, and it only made Naruto mentally chuckle. Naruto was being led to their training spot. They managed to get a new sparring room in the clan because Hinata would see them growing close and would interrupt their training by begging Neji for one, and Naruto would just be over the woman's obvious affections for her cousin. Though as the door opened, all Naruto's favorite people were there with gifts and games. No food because Neji didn't want to stain the floor, and so that would be ate in the kitchen. Naruto looked to Neji and sighed. You did this for me? Naruto asked, and Neji sighed. As much as I want to take all the credit for this, your friends helped as well. The friends in question waked over and spoke honestly. Neji planned this for you, though he did ask for a little help. Choji spoke, to which Naruto looked back up at Neji, who only ruffled his hair and went to walk off. Naruto grabbed Neji's hand and out of nowhere hugged him. Neji looked and hugged him back, placing his head on Naruto's for a second. I just wanted you to have a birthday that you actually enjoyed. Neji said, growing fond of the boy with each passing day. Naruto felt happy at the notion, and even when Neji pulled away, Naruto didn't want to. Though he did and looked to his friends while continuing to hold Neji's hands. We have everything you would want here. What do you want to do? Kiba asked excitedly, but all Naruto wanted to do was hug Neji and be hugged by Neji. Everything, Naruto declared happily, As the adults talked and watched as Naruto kept Neji next to him as he continued to joke and hang around with his friends. Are they finally getting along? Hiruzen asked. He wasn't allowed to smoke in here, which was fine, though his eyes always landed on his Kyuubi Jinchuriki and how well he was handling life. Yes, they spar quite often. Hinata is still upset, though I'm sure there will be somebody soon she will be interested in. Hiyashi said, and there was a hum. Hiyashi, how does it feel to know that one of our sons might sweep Naruto off of his feet? Hiyashi looked at the circle. Naruto was in a circle with his 4 friends, though Neji was leaning against Naruto's back, placing his head on Naruto's braided hair as Ran rested in Neji's lap. There is no way. Hiyashi spoke calmly as he answered Tsune's bold accusations. Shikaku chuckled and spoke. Naruto's companion has never trusted any of our sons but can sleep in Neji's lap. There isn't a chance in hell that Naruto would break the marriage off and marry another. Shikaku said, and the parents grumbled about not agreeing to marry their child off. Naruto's bright laughter rang throughout the hall. And suddenly the parents found themselves getting a slice of the bright ball of happiness that their children have every single day. It was time to graduate, though it was the fact that Naruto was nervous on who his teammates would be. He had 4 friends, but he didn't even know if any one of them would be on his team. Though he always had Ran, who always looked out for danger. He left the home in his standard outfit, something to blend in with nature if he needed to, as well as something comfortable because his movements are a little more on the reckless side. Though both Kurama and Ran said it was fine. It fit him perfectly. You are graduating. You want me to walk you to school? Neji asked as he was seen carrying a basket of fruits for an older woman of the clan. Is your team not meeting today? Naruto asked. He didn't see a proctor anywhere on Neji and his hair was pushed back. It was weird. Members of the side branch always covered their foreheads while members of the main branch did not. It wasn't Naruto's place to ask, he wasn't a member of the clan just yet. Though legally he was, though he didn't feel integrated into it yet. I have the day off for whatever reason. So I can walk you. The old woman watched the interaction with a smile, a scarf covering her forehead as she looked at the future of this clan. Okay, thank you, Neji. Naruto said calmly. He waited for Neji to get back from helping the older woman. The woman gave Neji a knowing look and Neji sighed. He's cute. Hiyashi surely has good taste. The woman spoke. Neji flushed a little. He is cute, and seems to have the male population at his ready. Though he hardly notices. Neji said calmly, placing the basket on the table. The woman smiled and placed her hand on Neji's. He can help you save the clan. He can help you save us. Lean on him, Neji. There is a reason you are drawn to him. Destiny works in mysterious ways. The woman said, planting a kiss to Neji's cheeks. Neji nodded and headed to Naruto, realizing it has been a little while. Naruto was still standing there, talking to Ran when Neji came back. Ran said something to Naruto because Naruto turned around and held out his hand. Neji took it and they both started talking and walking. I don't know if I'll like my team. Naruto confided in Neji. Neji smiled mentally because he had Naruto all to himself right now. Your team will surely like you. There isn't anybody that dislikes you besides Hinata, but she doesn't count. Neji encouraged, and it was true. Everybody was enraptured or enthralled with the blonde-haired wild teen. He wore his hair the same, dressed the same and smiled as if the whole world was watching. There isn't a person in the village that cannot be hypnotized by sunlight like Naruto. You are right. Thank you for that, Neji. Naruto spoke honestly, ending up at the academy with his 4 friends waiting for him at the door. Neji hummed and patted Naruto's hair, watching blue eyes flutter close at the contact. Good luck, I'm rooting for you. Naruto opened his eyes and nodded. See you for dinner? Neji nodded and lifted his hand up to wave to Naruto's friends. They all waved back and Naruto felt happy about their connection. Though it was merely the 5 of them agreeing that Naruto's happiness came first, and Neji declared that as Naruto's future husband, that the touch and coddling vibe kept to a minimum. They agreed because for those blue eyes, they would do anything for. Neji, who saw himself more and more hooked on the blonde due to his growing jealous of every other male in the male population, is what is making Neji a little more willing to be near Naruto than before. It's not like he ever hated Naruto, but he was so used to doing things alone, he didn't realize that this arranged marriage gifted him something he couldn't obtain anywhere else. Somebody who would always be in his corner or on his side. Naruto headed to his friends. They talked about usual, and Naruto felt calm. Ran was following behind Naruto calmly. When they headed inside, the classroom was loud, well louder than it usually was, and so Naruto, Kiba, Akamaru and Ran shrunk at the noise. Their sensitive ears couldn't do a lot. Even though Kiba was always yelling, "Sasuke, date me. No me." Naruto was confused. Sasuke was never as popular as he is now. He calmly looked to Shikamaru, the brains of the group, and he explained. Itachi gave heir to Sasuke because he is gay, and there aren't many males in the world that can give birth or have access to jutsu that can get them pregnant. Shikamaru said since his father always talked about his day at the tower. That rude to only want to date somebody because of their status. Naruto said, and Shikamaru nodded. Though a lot of people are like that. Plus the Uchiha clan is the richest clan right now. So they would be well taken care of. Naruto frowned and he walked over, ran hot on his tails. Hey Sasuke, do you want to come sit with us? Naruto said, interrupting the yelling. Sasuke, who looked away from the window he was at, only glared at the younger. Why? Because I have money now? Naruto tilted his head, looking at Sasuke. I was just thinking it might be a little loud and you need friends not after your money because we all our heirs are already married. Naruto said and then huffed. Though if you want to act like a spoiled brat you can continue to sit here and let the fangirls yell until you go deaf if both ears. Naruto said and he headed back to his friends. He managed to get 2 steps away before he heard. I'm sorry. Thank you. Followed by a chair sliding out. Naruto turned back around with a smile on his face and spoke. Welcome to our group Sasuke. You should stay forever. Naruto said happily and Sasuke softened but his face didn't portray it. Yeah thanks. Sasuke said, sitting next to Shikamaru. Naruto. Strange. Naruto always felt like somebody was calling him or trying to get his attention on a daily basis, though the voice was strangely known, but not recognized. So Naruto continued to walk away, not even sparing a look. Naruto-kun. Naruto stopped dead in his tracks and turned around. Only one man in this entire village added kun after his name. He turned and saw the 3rd Hokage. He hadn't seen him since his birthday. His team didn't start taking mission yet and so they haven't graced the tower. Hello Ji-san. Naruto said, Ran moving closer to Naruto. There wasn't much to say to a man that didn't want to take care of Naruto or the village, and so they were very passive when meeting. You look happy. Is the Hyuga clan treating you well? Naruto blinked because what kind of stupid question was that? He acts like now he can finally do something for you. Thinking you forgot what it feels like to run for your life every day. I'm alive and well. Did you need something, Ji-san? I'm running late to my team meeting? Naruto said calmly. Ran growled lowly but silenced when Naruto placed his hand on his head. Hiruzen smoked out of the pipe he carried everywhere. He was wearing a Hokage's robe and hat. The villagers in the immediate area were looking at the duo, and before Hiruzen could say anything Naruto walked away. He wasn't going to stand here and hear some excuse as to why the old bastard did what he did. The man was old and didn't care, and so why should Naruto? The old bastard decided after making Naruto suffer for years he would find a way to stop the abuse, though it did nothing for the looks and or offhand comments he receives. So really the only thing that changed is now Naruto isn't fighting for his life. He is still reminded about how much of a demon and monster he is every day. Though when he stumbled upon his team meeting spot, he saw Sasuke ignoring Sakura. Their sensei is late, he's always late. He could never be bothered to show up on time. Sakura, do you truly believe at 13 we are ready to settle down and have children? Naruto asked. He looked at the pink-haired female who did not do anything to show that should be a capable kunyachi. As if you aren't already married. Sasuke chided. Naruto tilted his head as he sat next to Sasuke, handing him something that was wrapped. Sasuke hummed and Naruto spoke. A tomato, I tend to garden sometimes. Sasuke took the tomato and suddenly his sour mood was gone and he gave a soft smirk. Naruto, if you weren't already married. Sasuke said, biting into the tomato like an apple. Naruto chuckled as Sakura gaped like a fish. Married, she screeched, and Naruto chuckled a little fondly, thinking of his intended. Ah yes, I am married, though everybody knows it's hardly a secret. Naruto said, confused, as to what her screeching was for. Neji glares at all of us. Even if we are your friends. Sasuke said as he finished his tomato. How? Sakura said, stomping her feet. Naruto and Sasuke looked at one another and Naruto spoke. Sakura, use your words. What's the problem? Naruto asked, and Sakura stomped her foot. Oh, I see, it's because Hinata insists that I'm merely in the way of her and Neji's life. She forgot to tell you that we are indeed married to one another. Naruto said, and Sasuke chuckled. Imagine not using your brain because you are too infatuated with somebody to see anything else around you. Sasuke said, and Naruto chuckled a little. He didn't say anything. He sighed calmly as he watched Sakura's mouth hang open. Stop being so mad, Sasuke, look. Sasuke looked over to Naruto to see Naruto smiling. Sasuke calmed significantly. Great, let's spar. Sasuke nodded and Sakura poured and found herself in a bad mood. Sulking as she blamed the wild child for everything that was wrong in her life, much like the other people that resides in this village. So the two teams sparred and waited for their sensei, who was about 3 hours late. The minute he showed up, he announced himself and didn't hear a response. He looked on to see Naruto and Sasuke having a good spar. He could see the Uchiha's mouth twitch into a smirk, which was more than any other emotion he expressed. Naruto always smiled and always moved the way he needed to move. Sakura looked to be pouting. She didn't even look to be trying to get strong like her male counterparts. You won't let me land a hit on you, Sasuke declared. Naruto smiled a little and sighed. I'm sorry, Sasuke, but Neji made me promise something the last time we sparred. Naruto said as Sasuke tilted his head. Naruto slid step and tripped Sasuke, placing a kunai to Sasuke's neck. I told Neji he'd be the first to land a hit on me, Naruto said, shrugging, and Sasuke snorted. He laid on his back as Naruto yawned. He already trained, and so he looked at Kakashi. I already had my spar, are we doing anything else? Kakashi shook his head no and watched as Naruto waved and walked off with Ran. Kakashi looked and tilted his head, but Sasuke looked up at the clouds. Shikamaru is rubbing off on me, Sasuke said, clicking his teeth as he ignored the pink-haired female again. Kakashi sighed and decided to head to the tower. Maybe he can find somebody to talk some sense into the pinkette. Naruto headed home. He really wanted to lay down. He was tired and aching a little. He decided to take a bath and relax his muscles. He came out the shower with his hair washed. It had been a while since he wore his hair down. He decided he would just braid it up tomorrow morning and deal with it then. He was leaving the bathroom, and he ran into Neji leaving the side branch of the Hyugas. Neji looked upset, but the minute he seen Naruto, he softened and exhaled. Do you want to talk about it? Naruto asked. His blonde hair was tilting to the side as he looked at Neji. Neji shook his head, and so the only logical thing Naruto could think of was to open up his arms and let Neji lose himself into a hug. Can we stay like this for a little? Neji whispered, holding on tightly. Of course, Naruto said calmly. He snuggled his head into Neji's neck as Neji tightened his hold to enjoy the hug and to calm his nerves a little. Naruto was in bed watching Neji. Neji was sitting at his desk writing what looked to be a note. Naruto closed his eyes and thought about how he ended up in his bed when he was just in the wave country. Though he quickly wondered instead if Inari was alright instead. The young child lost somebody he saw as a father, and happened to see him die. Naruto doesn't think he would have been able to see that and still be able to get himself out of bed every day. The wave country took an economical downfall all at the hands of a man named Gato. That man who saw the wave country was being prosperous decided to drain the land of everything it had. While it was Naruto's first A-rank mission, it would be the mission where he would also have to be Artemis. Though the mission was a success, him and Ran were able to repair the dying vegetation. The animals were fleeing because the land was slowly dying, the crops were dying, and it was crying out for help. Naruto very calmly listened as Kurama walked him through the process, and he hadn't realized how much earth and chakra he would be using. Naruto had all chakra natures, including the forbidden ones. He only used some when healing the lands, and for the wave country he had to use earth and water. Naruto was able to get a few days restoring the wave county back to its former self, and he ended up doing too quick because Ran had to carry the chakra exhausted male into the land of fire. Naruto couldn't remember much after that, and so he opened his eyes back up again and he continued to watch Neji. The way Neji placed his pen back in the holder as he folded over the paper and sighed. He closed his eyes and just sat there as if he had a lot of things on his mind. Naruto continued looking even when he saw Neji turn his body and face the bed. He watched as lavender eyes opened and looked into blue eyes that looked as they had rested appropriately. Welcome back to the land of living, Naruto. Naruto blinked and closed his eyes. How long have I been asleep? Naruto asked softly. Neji hummed a little and opened up the paper he had been writing on. He looked over the information before speaking. 5 days, though you had been unconscious even before you left the wave country, so tack on another 3 days. Naruto watched as Ran walked over and looked up at Naruto, tilting his head. Neji does sound like he's worried. Naruto said, replying to Ran. Neji sighed and placed his cheek in his hand as he elbow rested against Naruto's desk. Did I worry you? Though Hiyashi probably made you check on me? Neji stood up, his hair pushed back by his proctor to his his forehead. He walked over to Naruto's window to let some sunlight in. Am I not allowed to check on my bride after his first dangerous mission? Neji asked as he turned around from the window. He folded his arms in a scolding manner. You used a lot of chakra, and that's saying something. You have a lot of chakra to begin with, Naruto. Naruto blinked and sat up. He placed his hands in his lap. Are you scolding me, Neji? Naruto asked, though it felt as if he was being scolded. He's never been scolded before, but the fact that Neji is scolding him just reinstated that Neji is worried for him. Which makes Naruto so happy. You need to watch when you have reached your limit, Naruto. What if Ran wasn't there? Then Sasuke or Kakashi could have carried me. Naruto said nonchalantly. You know I don't like when your friends touch you so intimately. Neji said, sighing. Naruto always did this. Naruto didn't see anything wrong with how his friends interacted with him. Though Naruto definitely didn't see it like that because he wasn't interested in them like that. I am being scolded, Naruto said, and Neji rolls his eyes but decided to answer. Yes, I'm scolding you. I can reach you if you in another village, Naruto. Neji said honestly. Neji hadn't remembered when he found himself codependent on Naruto, but here he was, depending on Naruto. His life was still filled with stress at the prospect of obtaining his goal and training and becoming the strongest Hyuga in the lands. However, whenever he wanted to de-stress, or even if he needed somebody to sit next to him in silence and let him think about his situation calmly, he went to Naruto. He's codependent. You both have been growing closer. Kurama rumbled. Naruto ignored Kurama and smiled softly at Neji. Neji felt every angry bone leave his body. His shoulders slumped in relaxation and Naruto chuckled a little. I'm sorry, Neji. I promise I won't be so reckless anymore. Is what Naruto says, and it's what Neji believed, though Naruto is an Uzumaki. More than anything, he's wired genetically to be a brash individual. Okay, want to grab some food? Neji asked. Really, it was Friday and technically they both would be sparring right now, but he is pretty sure Naruto is hungry. Naruto got out of bed and nodded. Yeah, can you treat me to ramen? Naruto asked, heading to change. His braid was undone and he knew it must have been Neji, because Neji likes his hair down. Yeah, I'll treat you, though you aren't eating a lot. You know Hiyashi makes you dinner every night. Naruto smiled and walked out the home next to Neji. He doesn't make dinner, though he always expects me to eat it. Naruto sighed and Neji held a amused expression. The both held happy expressions on their face as they walked into the village. Naruto was so happy that he forgot he was a monster and demon to these people, though Neji, even though he was happy that Naruto was still happy, most certainly was not in the slightest bit happy that the villagers were calling Naruto a demon at all. Did Naruto look like a demon? Neji looked at that blinding smile and beautiful blue eyes and concluded that Naruto doesn't look like a demon at all. Naruto looks like a goddess, one who resides over animals. Neji watched as Naruto tucked his hair behind his ear and nodded. Naruto was definitely a goddess. The Chunin exams were coming and coming fast. Naruto had hoped that Kakashi would take this time to train them, but it would seem that he would focus on Sasuke. Naruto shouldn't have been surprised. Kakashi had made Naruto stop sparring with Sasuke a few times to show him jutsus and make him stronger. Naruto is sure Kakashi is only doing that because of the connection to the Uchiha clan. He is dating Sasuke's cousin Obito. So to Naruto, Kakashi was approached by Itachi and or Fugaku to help train up Sasuke. Then Kakashi felt as though he should neglect his other two students in favor of Sasuke, and really Naruto was fine. He didn't need Kakashi's help, that man couldn't strengthen him the way he needed to. He wondered though if somebody could help him with his bow and arrow. He was stuck on the thing. He knew he could make his bow and arrow follow chakra, though he wasn't sure how he could do that. He also needed to learn some healing techniques. He had been learning about the body with Kurama, and Ran was a good helper too. Naruto, that mon's chakra is weird. Naruto hummed and immediately found the man Ran was talking about. A white-haired male who was seen to be peeking on the woman in the hot springs. He watched as the male's blood dripped from his nose. A pervert. That's why his chakra is weird. Naruto walked over and attempted to step on the male's neck, though the male moved and grabbed Naruto's foot that was coming down pretty fast. You are quick, Gaki, though you would have to hide your chakra better than that. Naruto tilted his head. He hadn't met somebody that could dodge him quick like that. You pervert. How you dodge that? Naruto asked. He tilted his head as the male stood up and looked at the mini Minato. Minato? Naruto had never been called the fourth Hokage, he was always called demon and murderer. I'm about 20 years younger than the fourth Hokage. Can you even see pervert? I'm sorry, you look a lot like your father. Naruto froze a little. Suddenly he was annoyed that some strange man who didn't even know him had the audacity to tell him who his father was. He was about to speak but there was a voice. Wild child, Neji has been looking for you. He said you are late to his sparring. Naruto turned around and gave Hiashi a look. I'm sure Neji can wait a little longer. Naruto said, though there wasn't a smile on his face. He turned back around and looked at the old man. What was that, you pervert? Naruto asked, and it felt as if everybody in the immediate area was roasting, as if they were standing in or around fire. Though Hiashi knew he should have left when he had the chance. He has had the pleasure of being on the receiving end in Uzumaki's anger, and it's something he never wants to deal with again. It wasn't anything of importance. The male said. Naruto blinked calmly. Naruto looked to the male and spoke softly. A goddess should control their emotions. Both males looked relieved at the notion, though Naruto smiled. Luckily for me, I'm a goddess in training. Naruto unsealed a kunai and headed to swipe Jiraiya down at least. Jiraiya moved, and Naruto blinked calmly. If you know something, you better tell me before I kill you and pray that your blood nourishes my lands. Naruto said, and Hiashi knew to stay out of this. Can you also tell me why I'm hated? Why this village doesn't like me? I'm sure you have all the answers? Somebody as old as you would surely know why. You seem to call me by my supposed father's name. Naruto said, blinking as his chakras swirled. You haven't called for a jutsu once. The male said, as he continued to dodge Naruto's hits. Naruto was more annoyed that he wasn't able to land a hit on the older male. It was also because right now his powers were stagnant. His power matured with age, and that is what Ran and Kurama told him. He is the level he is at because he has mastered it as far as it could extend right now. So he waited until he could assess his bow and arrows that he trains with occasionally. I don't use jutsus, my powers draw from the land. Naruto said as he watched as the man took that information in and went to jump back. He tried to fire a jutsu but it just got deflected. I draw my powers from the lands. Naruto reiterated. He folded his arms and sighed. I hate you. Naruto declared. He was annoyed and tired and he wanted to go home. How dare that man start spilling secrets and then not continue to spill them? It was silent, but somebody strolled up next to Hiashi, watching as Naruto declared his hatred. Naruto was generally a happy person. He didn't even hate Hinata, and so Neji spoke calmly. Naruto. Naruto scoffed and looked to who called his name. Neji tilted his head at the odd reaction. Naruto looked upset, and he's never seen such a reaction. He had to search his brain on how he should calm Naruto down. You want to tell me what happened? Naruto turned back around and looked at the white-haired male. He rolled his eyes and looked to Ran. Come on, Ran. Neji is here to take us home. Naruto said, still in a bad mood. The 13-year-old looked at how Neji extended his hand, and he immediately latched on. I'm going to kill the bastard. Naruto said calmly. Neji squeezed Naruto's hands. Naruto looked to Neji and spoke. I lost my temper a little. Naruto said, and Neji admired the honesty. If anything, he looked to Naruto to see him ignoring the looks and talks in favor of looking at the clouds drifting by to calm his nerves. You can tell me all about it in our training room. We'll be alone then. Naruto nodded his head and Kurama sighed. Neji always shows up on time. Any longer and my powers would have swirled your pathways. You know you aren't ready for that yet. Naruto didn't respond to Kurama, because he had Neji next to him recalling his day to get Naruto's mind off of whatever that pervert said to him. Naruto, have you calmed down a little? Neji asked. He uncharacteristically laid down on the mat they usually spar on. He had been here with Naruto for 3 days now. Naruto ended up going to sleep, and so Neji didn't get to ask him anything regarding why he was angry at the old man. Naruto had Ran laying on his chest as they heard footsteps pass the door. "You know, I've never seen you lose your temper. You don't have to tell me if you aren't ready," Neji said, placing his hands on his stomach, continuing to look at the ceiling. He didn't even hear Naruto stir or show an inkling that he was up and or listening. Hiyashi had directed everybody to leave the teens while they talked, mostly for the teens to continue to grow close, but also because he was unsure if Neji was able to contain Naruto enough to where if somebody interrupted them, that they wouldn't have to face Naruto's wrath. He even had to tell his daughter, whose infatuation with Neji seemed to grow as she saw Naruto and Neji growing closer with each minute that passes. Hiyashi often wondered how somebody could be so delusional. He wondered if there was somebody that can get Hinata out of her funk. "The man called me Minato," Naruto said, recalling the interaction from the pervert. Neji was questioning why that would start a fight, and Naruto continued talking. "He said I looked like my father." My brain connected the dots and realized he meant my father was Minato Namikaze, the 4th Hokage. He immediately tensed when he realized he told me and I wasn't supposed to know. Naruto blinked calmly and sighed. Ran sensed that Naruto needed him move, and he had decided to move and lay in between them. Naruto held his hand to Neji, and Neji of course took it. Their hands were their only connection, and it's all they needed right now. Naruto closed his eyes. Then he started acting like all of a sudden he didn't know what he was talking about. When I asked about the looks and the trauma, he just looked at me funny. What was I supposed to do? Naruto complained. He looked to Neji, and Neji looked from the ceiling, and his blue eyes met Naruto. Nothing but turmoil on Naruto's face, as he asked his husband if he went overboard on his anger. He didn't want to make Neji upset by just picking a random fight with a male who called him by his father's name. "I believe, the way you reacted fit your genetics." Neji started. Naruto was confused, and so Neji elaborated for him. "If the male was right about our savior being your father, which I think is right, you are literally a dead ringer of him." Neji started, before humming. "Then your mother was Kushina Uzumaki. Everything I ever heard about the Uzumaki clan from every Hyuga is that they are so sweet until angry." Naruto wanted to smile but looked at Neji. "How does the Hyuga clan know about Uzumakis?" Neji blinked a little and chuckled, thinking back to the story. Lady Kushina and Hiyashi-san didn't get along. They have gotten into several altercations which involved her being mad, and Hiyashi will be the first to tell you that when you are fighting against an Uzumaki, the chances you'll leave unscathed or even alive is slim to none. While Naruto enjoyed learning about his supposed heritage, the only thing coursing through his brain was a question. "How many people know whose child I am and failed to tell me?" Naruto said. He looked to Neji, who held a solemn look. "How many people see these villagers' disrespect and do nothing to stop it? They know of my parents but refuse to set the record straight to them?" Neji didn't know how to answer Naruto. He knew the answer, but he didn't want to tell Naruto the answer. "From what I think, everybody who survived the Kyuubi attack." Naruto looked to Neji and closed his eyes. "Neji," Naruto said calmly. Neji nodded his head. He petted Ran, who only looked at Artemis and felt nothing but pain for him. "You are the only honest one. You really favor me, Neji," Naruto said calmly. Neji nodded his head, watching as Naruto's blue eyes held an emotion that made Neji's heart do somersaults. "You are the only one I favor. So since you are the only one I favor, I'm going to tell you something." Naruto was intrigued. Neji and Naruto laid on their side, as they both looked at one another in the eyes, and Neji started talking to Naruto. About an hour later, Hiyashi was heading to get Neji and Naruto. Hinata was home, declaring to her cousins that Neji was being hypnotized by Naruto to keep his attentions off of her, while the cousins just ignored her and her ramble. As Hiyashi was heading there, he heard distinctive platform shinobi shoes that only belonged to one person in the leaf, and so he looked and saw the pervert walking up to him. "The boy, I've come to apologize," Hiyashi spoke calmly. "Naruto is his name. Hiruzen didn't care about the child and neglected him. He allowed the village's attacks and words to continue even after his marriage into the Hyuga clan. It's just Naruto was never treated how he should have been treated, and then you come and spill secrets he had no idea about," Hiyashi said in a scolding manner. The wild child was soon to be welcomed into the Hyuga clan, and well as the other clans, and now the village needs to see why each clan adored the bride fitted for Neji. Hiyashi sighed anyways. Him and Neji had been holed up in their spot for about 3 days anyways. They haven't left the room since they have entered. Hiyashi said, and the pervert was ready to leave, but he saw Naruto's blonde hair cascading down his back and Neji black hair laying against his back. Ran was always 2 steps behind, and both teens held calm expressions but an air of seriousness around the 2 teens. "I'm starving," Naruto proclaimed in his usual bright and happy voice. Neji hummed, "Don't overeat. Pace yourself, Naruto," Neji said calmly as they walked past the 2 adults. "Can you take me to get ice cream after?" Naruto asked and Neji nodded. "Anything for my favorite one," Neji said as they walked to the dinner hall. Naruto listened to Sakura as she declared her love for Sasuke as they headed to the exams. There was nothing to be said with Naruto. He was definitely on a mission. The 13-year-old calmly let his mind wander. He let it wander so much that he was able to just follow after Sasuke since he had been getting stronger with Kakashi. "Sakura, shut the hell up," Sasuke said as he ignored the genjutsu on floor 2. He watched as Sakura gaped like a fish and quickly closed her mouth as she watched both boys leaving her. She quickly followed and let her mouth shut. She however watched as Sasuke sent look after look to the mute wild child that didn't even want to participate in this. He was too busy thinking about how he could possibly help Neji. He was onto something but he wasn't sure what it was quite yet. He calmly heard the door open and his eyes darted around. He saw Neji being cornered by his friends, and the females watching with a weird look in their eyes. Sasuke and Naruto headed closer and Naruto could hear their worry about Naruto's behavior lately. Naruto didn't realize that he had been neglecting his friends, though he listened to Neji's response, as Ran managed to poof to where he was. Naruto let the fox sleep in a little since he was up with Naruto most of the night. "I'm sorry I have been taking all of Naruto's time," though he had just met somebody that informed him of the truth and he has just thinking about it lately. Neji didn't want to say too much. It was Naruto's story to tell and so Naruto smiled and Sasuke watched, admiring the way Neji was able to make Naruto so happy. He was happy that the wild child was happy, though like many people in the wild child's life he wish he could be the one to place it there. Maybe a small crush that will go away with time? He asked himself as he heard Shikamaru shooting off a question. What truth? Though Sasuke opened his eyes and finished his inner monologue. If he had this crush forever it wouldn't matter. His onyx eyes followed Naruto to see him latch his hands with Neji and give a smile that wasn't nearly as bright as the one he gave when looking at Neji. There was no way Naruto would ever feel the same about him and that was okay with Sasuke. As long as he can see a smile on the wild child's face. Shikamaru, curiously, will have you somewhere you don't need to be. I'm fine, I just needed some time to think, Naruto said, watching as their shoulders slumped in relaxation, though Shikamaru still wanted to know but calmed when he saw Naruto and Kiba bickering like always. The group caught up with one another about missions, and things happening in their respective clans. The room continued to be loud and boisterous, mostly belonged to Kiba. The one redhead silently looked at the blonde-haired teen. His entire body was screaming to fight the blonde, to see if he could see the blood that he produced. He hadn't thought much about anybody being able to sense his small bloodlust, though in the middle of Naruto's sentence he trailed. He calmly felt Kurama hummed lowly, and he quickly moved his head to the person who dared want to kill him. Now Naruto had known that Kurama traveled the lands with Artemis, the one who was able to pass her soul to all these people after her. Kurama, who was being called a demon as time went on, became a face of evil instead of peace, condemning him to being sealed into Uzumaki's. So if that can happen to Kurama, it can definitely happen to other companions. Though a goddess that just wants to outright kill him? It didn't so much put Naruto on edge, but it definitely made him want to pull rank. Naruto, are you alright? Choji asked, because he was the one talking to Naruto. Naruto blinked and watched as teal eyes bled gold. Ran felt it and immediately looked to Neji. Neji, get everybody to stand back. Neji was surprised but told people to step away from Naruto. Naruto was there but in a second, all that was heard was the wall crumbling and Naruto's fist clean through it. A goddess, though you seem to be driven by rage and insanity. Naruto said calmly. He pulled his fist back. He backed up and watched as the male chuckled. You have not changed a bit, Artemis. Brash and always having an animal following you. The male said, though it wasn't the male talking. Naruto folded his arms as he listened to his soul speak to him. You are just the same mania. Your bloodlust is off the walls. Have you not learned how to disguise that better? Naruto chided and the male chuckled. It's been centuries. Let's hang out. Naruto blinked. Naruto watched as Mania looked happy at the prospect, though Naruto's soul is making it seem like they have never been so close, which is why Naruto's first reaction was to punch the teen with a chakra-enhanced hit. Hide your malicious intent better and we might Mania. Naruto said. The vibe that he got from this person was that they were crazy, insane actually, but he did care and he just needed to mask his bloodlust a lot better than what he was doing. Artemis, way to take the fun out of things. Though I'll train real hard so we can be friends? Yeah, the redhead smiled with his head tilted, though it looked fake to Naruto and he only shrugged. He was causing a scene and decided to go check on his human friends since he is finished indulging the other in front of him. He turned and as he was walking back to Neji turned and caught the kunai that was aiming for him. The handle read Gaara Sabaku, though Naruto knew that he was looking at the goddess of insanity and madness. Mania is what she is called, and despite this meeting, Naruto and Gaara would become the best of friends. Naruto was moving with his team through the forest as they started the second round. The first one was easy. Nobody on his team really batted an eye, and Naruto seemed to be watched by his insane goddess friend. At least from what Kurama told him about Mania and Artemis past. Mania was always a crazy spirit. Artemis had a soft spot for her because she wasn't born crazy, but driven to insanity and nobody tried to help her before Artemis. You do have a soft spot for him because of Artemis' influence. I suppose, I'll give Gaara a chance. Not his fault that he happened to be Mania's reincarnate. Naruto happened to duck as he missed a kunai. He stopped on a branch and Sasuke stopped next to him. He folded his arms as he watched a woman from Kusagakure stood there with a scroll in her hand. She was tall and Naruto, who was able to read souls, calmly whispered to himself. Serpent. Naruto said, now he loved any animal. Though he always seemed to love snakes a little less than any other animal. I'll give you this scroll. All you have to do is give me Sasuke. Sakura started screaming and not making any sense. Naruto didn't know who this woman was, if this was even a woman. Naruto was getting bad vibes, and so Ran took off. Howling loud within the village, an earth-shattering howl that was soon to gather the attention he needed, he took off after the snake. Naruto blinked and called out. Ran. Naruto screamed, he went to head after Ran. He wanted Ran far away from that serpent. He headed after and told Sasuke and Sakura to stay put. Sakura scoffed but one look from Sasuke made her shut her mouth. Naruto reached Ran before he was able to get sliced by the sword the male was wielding. Naruto did a few signs and what fell in his hands was a bow and arrow. He quickly shot a bow that if he was successful it would hit the woman between her eyes. Which it did, and where everybody expected a body thumping over and blood falling, all they were gifted with was a maniacal laughter. Nothing like Gaara's. This one actually made Naruto shiver. They stood there, and the genin froze. Ran. Naruto said in a low whisper. Do not fear Artemis. I have called for some help. Ran said, and Naruto watched as the serpent shedded his skin, much like a snake would, and he was looking at a very pale male, and yellow glowing eyes. It very much gave snake charmer vibes and Naruto did not like it at all. Sasuke, don't you want power? Don't you want to show Itachi and your clan that you aren't a disgrace? Sasuke clenched his fist. Naruto's head whipped and he looked to Sasuke. Is that true, Sasuke? Are they calling you a disgrace? Naruto asked. He could feel that Sasuke had a lot on his mind and felt bad for neglecting his friend. Yes, but I don't mind. I have you and our friends. I'm going to show them that they don't have to compare me to Itachi. Naruto blinked. He should bring Sasuke to the Hyuga clan. Neji and Sasuke might do good sparring with one another. Shut up, serpent. Naruto said. He needed to get his team out of here. He looked to Ran and Ran nodded. Get them out of here, the animals are here already. Naruto turned around and headed back to Sasuke and Sakura. Let's leave. Naruto held out his hand to both Sasuke and Sakura and they both latched on. They took off and Naruto prayed to Kami. He needed to make sure that Ran would still be by his side. Sasuke. Sasuke. The voice said, and suddenly he was cut off by the amounts of growls and howls heard behind them. You damn wild child. I'll kill you. Naruto blinked and just continued. They just went to the tower and hoped that they would run into somebody on the way. Naruto didn't want to say anything. He knew that they all were feeling different emotions. Especially Sasuke. Sasuke was sure to be thinking about taking that man up on his offer, and Naruto would definitely kill Sasuke himself if he left the village to become Rouge. You better not, Naruto said calmly, in the midst of both of Sasuke and Sakura. Become Rouge if you want Sasuke. I'll drag your ass back to this village, wishing you just listened in the first place. Naruto said, landing on a branch to look at Sasuke, and he held his hand up in mock surrender and looked to Naruto. Naruto sighed and looked at Sakura. Tired? We can set up base here, Naruto said, and Sakura nodded. For once she didn't want to argue with Naruto. So Team 7 decided to set up a camp, and the sun was setting. Naruto had hunted some fish for them to eat and insisted on the other two to sleep as he waited for Ran's return. He sat by the fire, looking out into the forest. He waited and waited and waited and he waited. He was close to closing his eyes and then heard a little rustling. Shooting his eyes open, he watched as a golden fox stumbled into the clearing. Naruto's eyes widened as he opened his arms. Ran. Naruto didn't even care about the scroll Ran had in his muzzle. Naruto hugged his companion. He sighed calmly as his body shakes as he had to hold back his tears. You came back to me. Naruto closed his eyes as he cried into the fur. I wouldn't leave you so soon, Artemis. I will serve you as long as you are alive, or if I perish. Ran said, quite connected to the goddess. Naruto's eyes closed and Ran readjusted to where Naruto was sleeping against his fur, while he looked out for Naruto. Naruto spent the next week attached to Ran. He could feel the worried eyes on him, but all he did was hug and coddle Ran. Ran could feel the goddess worry, and so he made no move to do anything. He allowed the goddess to continue being protective of him, as if he wasn't placed on this earth to protect the goddess, because he knew how stubborn the goddess was. Naruto, you should pay attention instead of hugging your fox, Naruto heard Kakashi say, but he had nothing for him other a punch to the throat. Sasuke spoke to his family member as he told him what went down in the forest. Though instead of asking Naruto was he okay receiving a death threat or asking Sakura how she felt after watching a human literally shed their skin, he asked Sasuke if was he affected by somebody asking for him. As if Ran didn't almost lay down his life for Naruto, and Naruto didn't receive a death threat from a serpent at 13. I'm definitely asking for a new sensei. I'm going to kill Kakashi, Naruto said to Ran as they waited for their matches to be called. While Naruto was waiting for his turn, he saw Gaara fighting Lee. It was a great match, and it seemed like Rock Lee had the advantage. He was faster than the sand, and so it looked like Gaara was going to channel his goddess powers. His sand suddenly started to move faster. He has magnet release. He might have Mania's lover sealed within him. A crazy spirit going by Shukaku. It might be why the bloodlust doesn't hide very well. He was definitely a killer among the gods. Naruto didn't say anything in response to Kurama. He heard a blood-curdling scream and realized that Gaara planned to kill Lee, and so Naruto shot his power out and screamed. Mania. As if Gaara came to his senses, he pulled his sand away and smiled, rubbing the back of his head. Did I go too far? I was listening to Shu-chan. Naruto leaned against the railing. Just because Shu-chan calls you pretty doesn't mean that you should kill people, Naruto said, and Gaara nodded, looking as he was declared the winner and the boy was wheeled away. Can I come sit by you? Naruto nodded and ushered Gaara over. He walked up the stairs as Neji and Hinata looked to have their match. Naruto looked over as he saw Neji ignoring Hinata's affections, something he has always done since they married back when he was 10. Neji was never interested, and at the fact that he showed no interest into Hinata, which confused Naruto as to why Hinata was still in love with Neji. You do not compare. Simple, Neji said a little loudly. They had been talking and Naruto assumed it was about him, but it was finally loud enough to where everybody could hear. How? I'm pretty, men tell me all the time. I'm not weak, and I don't look like I sleep outside, Hinata said as she continued to dodge Neji. Naruto doesn't look like he sleeps outside. There is no way I'll deal with somebody who has a personality like you, Hinata scoffed, and Naruto heard Gaara speak. Ah, is that your fated one? He's cute. Shu-chan said I would end up with somebody like him, Gaara said, and Naruto nodded. He's cute, and we get along well, Naruto said, and Gaara nodded. Are you going to declare your love here? Tell this entire stadium and I'll leave you alone, Hinata declared. She boldly stepped back and folded her arms, daring Neji to admit to an arena full of people that he adored Naruto. Neji cleared his throat and stepped back. He spoke loudly as he looked Hinata dead in her eyes. That blonde-haired beauty with their hair braided and bright ocean blue eyes is my intended, and I like him a lot, and I plan to seal the deal and marry him once we are older. The entire arena went silent and Hinata's mouth dropped. Naruto will be a Hyuga in due time, and I have staked my claim on eventually marrying him. Thank you for your time on the matter. Neji said. He looked to Hinata and she blinked. Now leave me and Naruto alone, you psycho. Hinata scoffed and stomped her feet. I quit. She meant to say that she quit trying to break Neji and Naruto up. There was no way her stubborn cousin wouldn't have admitted that if he didn't mean it. Though she was annoyed that Neji would just toss their destiny away like that, like they weren't always connected. That is why her father decided to move Neji from the branch family to the head family, because the original plan was to have Hinata and Neji marry. The eyes of their child would be amazing. Though Hiyashi wanted to see how Uzumaki blood will enhance the eyes in future generations. Winner Neji Hyuga. Hinata heard that and gasped, wanting to tell the referee what was wrong. That she hadn't meant it like that, but all the protest fell on deaf ears and she was ushered off the stage. Gaara looked over to Naruto to see his expression, not seeing a hint of embarrassment on his face. Gaara frowned and started asking questions that fell on deaf ears. Sasuke looked over to Naruto to see him looking at Gaara with an expression that clearly tells you that he wasn't listening. That idiot. How can he just admit that so casually? Naruto asked as he felt an arm around his shoulder. He looked up and saw Neji looking down at him. You didn't introduce us? I believe this is the person you almost punched? Neji said with a question. Gaara stopped his mindless rambling and spoke. I'm Gaara, but only Artemis can call me Mania. Neji tilted his head and looked to Naruto. Naruto blinked calmly and looked to Gaara. Mania, loose lips. Gaara opened his mouth and quickly closed it. Naruto looked up at Neji and spoke. How could you boldly declare that? Naruto asked as his name was announced to fight Kiba. Kiba and Akamaru didn't want to face the wild child but had no choice if they advanced. Neji only smirked and patted Naruto on the head and spoke. Good luck. Naruto blinked and Neji hummed. Tell me about the Artemis when we go home, yeah? Neji phrased it like a demand and Naruto was caught off guard, though he didn't feel like he forced to tell him, but him and Neji told one another everything. Yeah, I'm going to win my match now. Naruto said as he left. Neji looked to the rail and Gaara stood next to him. Ran didn't accompany Naruto and Gaara asked a question. So do you both kiss or anything? Neji looked at Gaara and Gaara shrugged and looked back towards the fight. He guessed Artemis didn't want to talk to him. There is a lot to you. Neji said. They laid in their spot as they didn't even bother to train. They had a break from the exams, and Naruto felt like they should just grow a little closer. Even though Neji proclaimed that they would marry, Naruto barely spends time with his friends, though he will make it up to them, especially since he ended up beating Kiba. I guess there is. Naruto looked over at Neji, hugging Ran like a pillow who did not disagree with his goddess. Did something happen? You usually aren't as clingy to Ran as you are being. Naruto blinked. He didn't say anything. He heard Neji shuffle and lock eyes with him. Naruto calmed down and started telling him what happened in the forest. He also explained that Kakashi didn't do anything for him, and only worried about Sasuke. Sakura looked like a scared duck and how he was more worried about Ran than anything. Ran went and tried to lay down his life for me. Naruto said in a scolding tone. Ran snorted or made a sound resembling a snort, but it was really a snort to Naruto and Neji. As your companion, it is my job to make sure you don't die until you have repaired the lands. Naruto closed his eyes and ran a hand through Ran's fur. Ran can't die. I would never forgive myself as Artemis if Ran dies. Naruto said and Neji smiled a little. He looked at Naruto and Ran and chuckled a little. If Ran wasn't a fox I would think you loved him more than me. Naruto looked at Neji and smiled. What are you saying? Naruto asked. He watched as Neji tilted his head before he spoke. I loved animals before I loved humans. I am the goddess of wildlife and hunting. Neji chuckled a little and Naruto smiled, closing his eyes as he listened to Neji's laughter. Neji was probably the best person in his life. Neji didn't outright like him just because they were married. It took a while and Neji was a lot more stubborn around people he didn't like. So Naruto believed the Neji he was seeing now was the Neji he was going to see as they got older and married. Is that why you braid your hair? Is that a goddess thing or a Naruto thing? Neji asked. Naruto sighed as he felt Ran drift to sleep. A goddess thing, Naruto said, and Neji yawned. Naruto felt the same. He could definitely use a nap. He watched as Neji rolled over on his stomach. You want me to lock the door so he can take a nap? Naruto asked, and Neji shook his head. He yawned a little and spoke. We can sleep. Nobody should come in here, is what Neji said, but the minute the duo went to get comfortable and sleep, there was a knock against the door. Naruto looked to Neji because he knew that somebody would come and bother them. We are sleeping, Hiyashi, Neji said calmly, but there was a voice at the door. It's Jiraiya, may I come in? Neji looked to Naruto and Naruto nodded his head. Yes, take your shoes off at the door, Neji said as he closed his eyes anyways. The door opened and closed and it was silent. Jiraiya only laid down and looked up at the ceiling. He sat in quietness until he decided to speak. I wasn't supposed to tell you of who your parents are. The similarities really just thrown me off, Jiraiya said calmly, and Naruto watched as Ran opened his eyes. Then why when I asked you, you tried to act stupid? Naruto asked, and Neji was in dreamland. That's exactly where Naruto wanted to be. Though he had to sit here and listen to this mess. I couldn't say it in public. It is forbidden. Your father and mother saved this village by sealing the 9 tails in you. Then Izoran announced to the village that you were the Jinchuriki to the 9 tails AMD. That is what caused you to be hated. Naruto nodded his head. He hadn't really cared. Yes, he had a bad childhood, though the 3rd Hokage didn't care about him, and this solution he came up with was only a half fix. Yes, he was protected in a sense, though the words still flew from their mouths daily, and the looks weren't any better. He thinks that this just fixed the problem and Naruto is good now. Yes, Naruto is good and happy, but what if the villagers don't like seeing him happy? Then they are mad and are going to use even more extreme measures to make sure Naruto is reminded of the monster and demon he is. I came because I wanted to meet you. I finally had a break in missions and I wanted to meet my godchild. Naruto sighed and snuggled into Ran. Ran was purring away from the affections, and when Naruto was ready he spoke on the topic. I'm fine. I'm really fine. I just need to get a little stronger and I'll be fine. Naruto said. He meant it. He had things he needed to accomplish and he definitely needed to help Neji with his goal. There was no way he wouldn't sit here and help his future husband free literally so many lives. What are you trying to learn? Jiraiya asked. He was curious and wondered if he could help the teen or maybe find somebody to help the teen. Some healing techniques, and definitely sealing. I also need somebody to help me expand my reserves so I can hold more chakra than what I am holding. Naruto started. I produce a lot of chakra constantly, but most of it ain't staying, and so I'm making chakra but not saving chakra. I want to be able to harness all the chakra I produce. Naruto said, and Jiraiya hummed. I know somebody that can help you. Though if you don't mind waiting a little longer, I have one mission to attend to, and I'll bring that person back with me. Naruto nodded and spoke a reassuring thank you before closing his eyes. He definitely wanted to join his future husband in a nap before dinner. Then I'll see you in about a month. Naruto lifted up his hand to wave. Jiraiya took that as his cue to leave. He stood up and headed out but took one look at the duo. Naruto was nuzzled into Ran, who managed to go to sleep, but he had his arm outstretched across Ran so that Neji, who was using his arm as a pillow, could use his free hand on his free arm to hold Naruto's hand. They were definitely close and Jiraiya could tell that these two will be inseparable when they grew older. It's the fact that you haven't been spending time with us for me, Shikamaru said, scolding Naruto lightly. Naruto chuckled a little and looked up at Shikamaru, who was watching some sound ninjas fight. It's the fact that you all know I'm busy, and that Neji just so happens to demand my attention, and as his wife I simply cannot say no, Naruto said, watching as Ran stalked his way over to Neji, who was being lectured by Guy-sensei and Rock Lee. You both have been a lot closer. We are happy that you both are happy with one another, Choji said, patting Naruto on the head. Naruto chuckled a little and sighed. We are just moving at our own pace. The overwhelming need to be married and settle down isn't there, though we know that when the time comes we wouldn't want to marry anybody else. Sasuke hummed. To have found the love of your life so early. I'm actually a little jealous, Sasuke said, expressing himself for once, and Shino spoke. You've even made Sasuke jealous, and he doesn't even think about females and heirs yet. Naruto snorted. Shino was quiet but really funny when he wanted to speak. Sasuke scoffed and shoved the bug user playfully, and Shino made a sound of enjoyment. You all will find who you all are destined to soon. Or maybe a few years from now, but it's not like me and Neji won't get married and have heirs around you all. Naruto said as he watched as the round ended in a tie. Our kids all have to go to school together. Naruto said, and then his names was called with surprise his husband. His listened to all of his friends gasp and he looked at them. What do you take me and Neji for? We will still hold hands before and after our fight. Naruto said and his friends looked at him. Good luck, they said in unison as if they had no faith that Naruto would win. Naruto gasped and screamed a little loudly. You all believe Neji is going to win? There was nothing that escaped from their mouths, because for one they all but Sasuke did believe Neji would win. Neji was talked up to be a prodigy, as good as Shikamaru and Sasuke. Naruto wasn't, and rumor was he barely passed the academy. He was dead last, and Neji had more experience than them. It was a no-brainer really. Neji looked on at the altercation and almost smirked. There was no way he was winning this. He's never been able to beat Naruto in a spar. I cannot stand y'all right now. Naruto turned and headed towards his husband. He locked hands with him and dragged him to the arena with Ran following. Neji chuckled behind Naruto and Naruto wanted to curse Neji out too. You better not go easy on me, Neji said, and the arena looked on confused, well all but Hiashi. He sat next to his second daughter Hanabi as she was excited to see this fight. Hinata sat next to Kiba, Sakura and Ino. They all were also intrigued on how this match would go. Naruto isn't bad. Hinata stared, she really didn't like Naruto. Though he was a capable ninja and she could tell her cousin always tried his hardest when they would spar when they were younger. Since when would I ever? Naruto said, and they waited. The arena was silent and Gemma called for the fight to begin, and the minute he did Naruto blocked a hit to his heart. Neji, are you trying to kill your wife? Naruto said, quickly grabbing a kunai and swiping down to create some distance between the two. It wasn't enough chakra to kill you, just stun you a bit. Neji said. Naruto put the kunai away and started engaging in taijutsu. He's bold, for fighting Neji hand to hand like that. Sakura said, she knew about those chakra points. Hinata folded her eyes and spoke. Naruto can sense chakra at a minuscule level. He can tell where Neji is going to strike before it gets even close to him because of the chakra in his palm. Hinata leaned up. She's upset she memorized Naruto's fighting style. You seem to know a lot about a male you don't like. Kiba said as Hinata rolled her eyes. Well, I planned to challenge Naruto for Neji's love and so I studied him a bit. Whatever, Hinata said as she looked back towards the fight. You've gotten even better. You seem to read me a lot better than before, Naruto said, moving at the last second. His eyes darted around before he brought up his chakra wall as Neji did a full rotation stance. You seem like you're always one step ahead of me, Neji said calmly, standing back. He still didn't know how to combat Naruto. It's hard to fight somebody who draws their powers from the land. Who can also see and sense chakra, understand how each living thing operates. Naruto was a literally goddess and Neji was not a god. I'm surprised, nobody lasts this long with Neji, Shikamaru said, his eyes calculating, and Sasuke spoke. There is nobody as good at taijutsu as Naruto, Sasuke said, as they looked back down at the fight. You know you'll lose your chakra faster than me, right? Naruto said, and Neji hummed. I forgot I was fighting a literal goddess. Naruto smiled and raised his hand. I quit, Naruto said, and Neji blinked and spoke. No, I quit, Neji said, raising his hat, and Naruto chuckled. I quit first, Naruto said, and Neji wrapped his arms around Naruto's neck and sighed into his hair. Ran followed after the two. The arena didn't know what to do, and so Gemma just called the match as a tie and decided to call for Gaara and Sasuke. Everybody wished Sasuke luck, and Naruto promised he would keep watch to keep Mania in line. It started out in Sasuke's favor, it did. Gaara was controlling himself, and he whispered something to Sasuke. I don't want to do this. Please tell Artemis that the village is controlling me. Sasuke could hear the sincerity in his voice, and so he questioned back lowly. Do what? Sasuke asked, but it fell on deaf ears. Soon there was a huge explosion, and the arena could hear the surrounding walls of the Leaf village crumble. Let your blood lust out Shukaku. Sasuke knew what he meant when he felt Gaara's aura drop significantly. Mania, mania, Naruto called out, but with the surrounding commotion, Naruto doesn't think Gaara heard him. All Naruto could think about was saving Gaara. That was all. So he jumped over the railing to get to him, though he heard Neji calling his name, but that didn't matter. What mattered was making sure Gaara was a puppet for his village because he carried the demon Shukaku. Kurama seems to know him. Maybe he always encountered Mania while she was with Shukaku, or he just knows Shukaku well enough to be close. Though Naruto knew by the way Sasuke was trying to help Gaara that it was the case of the Sand Village controlling Gaara's bloodlust. Gaara took one look into Blue Eyes, and Naruto shot his chakra around. Sleep mania, Naruto said as Gaara's eyes fluttered closed. Naruto quickly ran over to him. His hands traveled around Gaara to see if there was something that was being used as a controlling seal. He found it and he waited for Kurama to tell him how to get rid of it. I don't know Artemis. I can't help you save Mania, I'm sorry. Naruto frowned and looked around. He held Gaara to his knees and looked at how skinny and feminine he was, though he also looked like he barely has gotten any sleep. Ran, Naruto shouted. Sasuke looked at Naruto and Naruto smiled. I have Mania, can you please check on Neji for me? Naruto asked and Sasuke nodded. He didn't want to, he kept saying that in this life he wanted to make Artemis proud. Soon Ran sat in front of Naruto and Naruto spoke to Ran. Create a chakra bubble, I don't want nobody to come in and out. Naruto said and he looked to Sasuke. Thank you Sasuke. I'll take care of Mania now. Naruto sat with Gaara in a chakra-secure bubble in the middle of invasion. He didn't want to leave Mania's side. Naruto ran his hand through Gaara's red hair, he should grow it longer. Neji was too busy fighting some sand ninjas. He wanted to go make sure Naruto was okay. He wasn't even sure what was even going on in this invasion, and he was wondering why it was taking so long for it to be stopped. The sand and the sound were attacking, trying to overpower the leaf, though Neji doesn't think that is their goal, and as he looks to his left to see a big purple barrier rise up, it's now that he realizes the true goal of this invasion. The execution is of the third Hokage. Though unknowingly to the village there was one ninja using this as excuse to clean up house. To exterminate the elders as well as the roots whose loyalty lies with Danzo. Neji looked around and realized that most of the people were leaving, though as the smoke cleared he saw Naruto sitting with Gaara who was sleeping. He calmed when he realized that at least Naruto was fine. He left the others and headed to where his wife is. Because that is his priority. Orochimaru was the reason for this invasion and he said so, surrounded by all the Leafs Junin trying to disable the barrier he had that he knew wasn't going anywhere. He made sure Jiraiya and Tsunade were going to be nowhere near this, and he also made sure he had a clone stalking Sasuke. He was the Uchiha he needed, ones whose loyalties were questionable at best. The entire clan hated how he wasn't a prodigy like Itachi or Shisui. He wondered if he would seek him out, or would that wild child be in his way yet again. You won't leave this barrier alive, you old man. Orochimaru cackled as he decided to put on a show for the people watching him. Naruto looked at Mania, opened his eyes. He could tell that Gaara didn't look like his usual self. Gaara opened his mouth and Naruto nodded. You are safe with me. The Sand Village won't take you, and I won't let the Leaf Village lock you up. Naruto said, which made Gaara close his eyes back and speak. Thank you Artemis. I was trying really hard for you. Naruto smiled softly. You did good. Rest a little more and I'll find out a way to remove that seal. Gaara nodded and drifted back to sleep. Place a hand over Mania's stomach, let me talk to Shu-chan. Naruto nodded and felt his conscience empty of Kurama for the time being. He saw Neji walking up to his bubble. He didn't want unfamiliar chakra around Gaara in case he might act out. He isn't stable right now. Do you want me to come back later? Neji asked. Naruto could read his lips because once in the huddle there was no sound from the outside. Ran let him in, Naruto said, and for a second the bubble fell. Then Neji walked in and it was covered again. Neji sat down next to Naruto and looked down at Gaara. He restrained himself for you. Naruto sighed. He feels like my family, like an instant connection even if I did try to kill him when we first met. He's like a lost puppy. Can he stay with us for a little? Until he meets somebody he loves? Naruto pleaded with Neji. Neji held Naruto's free hand and felt the weight of Naruto's head in his shoulder. Of course he can, there is an empty room next to yours. Neji said as he leaned his head on Naruto's head. The duo cuddled up in the middle of an invasion that was ending because Neji watched the purple barrier go down. I know I said this before, but you really do favor me, Neji. Neji closed his eyes as his heart thumped a little. He obviously would favor Naruto. Naruto is his goddess. You are my bride. You are the only one I will favor. Neji said, and Naruto smiled as the two sat in complete silence. As Sasuke was heading to his friends, he overheard his father telling somebody that they were going through with disowning Sasuke. Sasuke's eyes widened as he listened to Fugaku another speak. They were willing to try their luck with Itachi and a forbidden jutsu, then have the dead weight of Sasuke in the clan. Sasuke looked up at the sky and then to the arena where Naruto was. I'm sorry, wild child, but I won't let you bring me back until I'm strong. Sasuke headed home to pack, and like a predator watching his prey, Orochimaru stood on the branch licking his lips as he watched Sasuke run to his home. It looks like he was getting Sasuke anyways. Despite the wild child's efforts to keep him here. You can't. I will seriously kill you. Naruto screamed as he held Gaara to his chest. Gaara didn't say a word, he kept quiet as he hugged Naruto. Naruto looked to the council, who was too just trying to fix the village and wait for Jiraiya to come back to appoint a cage. Though they wanted to torture and lock Gaara up, for something he had no control over. Yeah, Gaara injured a leaf shinobi and everybody in the room disliked him for that, though who was the one that calmed Gaara down? It was Naruto, and he would calm Gaara down until that seal was taken off of him. He's a criminal, Naruto. He needs to be locked up. Shikaku said. He said what nobody else wanted to say, but everybody knew it was the truth. He was being controlled, Nara-san. He didn't do it of his own free will. Naruto said calmly. He liked everybody in the room right now, though Sakura's father might get punched in his throat. How would you know that? Fugaku asked. He leaned back in his chair and spoke. I'm an Uzumaki and a Namikaze. I may not know how to seal yet, but identifying a simple control-based seal is as easy as breathing. The room looked at Naruto in shock. Naruto blinked calmly as he felt Gaara speak. I'm sleepy, Artemis. Why am I sleepy? Gaara asked quietly, and Kurama spoke while the room sat stunned, wondering what their next words would, asking about how he knew his heritage. When I had you place me in his conscience, I was able to subdue Shukaku for a little. You were really meant to be his friend. Our chakra does calm him down, like natural-made melatonin. You can sleep, mania. Would you like to sleep on Ran? Naruto asked, and Gaara shook his head, just started sleeping on Naruto. So, I know of my heritage. I don't know why you all had to hide it. Though I'll say this. Naruto's eyes flashed red in a protective gleam. Hiashi watched in wonder as Naruto surprised him every day at the progression of his power. Gaara is not a criminal, and when the pervert gets back in the village he can remove the seal and we can make Gaara a ninja. Naruto said, and Hiashi hummed. While that makes sense, do you believe the Sand Village would just hand Gaara to us? Hiashi said, and Naruto nodded. Yes, because if he goes back to Sanagakure they will kill him for not getting the job done. Naruto said, and the door slammed open. A drunken woman with a pig and a black-haired woman stormed in the room with Jiraiya following behind. Fugaku stood up and decided that since the pervert Sannin is back that he should just have him check over the sleepy teen. Naruto blinked calmly because he already knew what the Uchiha was thinking. Hey Uchiha-san? Naruto asked, walking over to lay Gaara on the couch. Leaving a clone so Gaara could sense Naruto's chakra. Naruto walked over and folded his arms. Are you the reason why Sasuke can't hang out with our group anymore? Where is he? Naruto asked. Shino, who was the closest to Sasuke, said that Fugaku and Mikoto usually ushered him out, saying that he was training. Though the fact of the matter is that Sasuke was gone and the Uchihas were glad that he was gone. Though until the issue arose they all were trained to say the same thing. He's getting better so he doesn't become the clan's disgrace. Naruto blinked calmly. He looked at Fugaku and immediately he spoke. You are lying to me. You think I wouldn't be able to tell? Fugaku blinked. He hadn't known the wild child would be so quick on the uptake. While Naruto and Fugaku were having a staring contest, Hiashi ushered Jiraiya over to check the boy over. Wild child, I do not think you should add murder to your record. Sume said calmly. She was all for the extermination of Fugaku. That man definitely pissed her off in this life and the one before it. If I find out Sasuke left the village because you assholes have done something to him, you better pray to Kami I do not annihilate your entire clan and use your clan's blood to nourish my dying lands." Naruto said, and the blonde woman just looked at Naruto. A spitfire, just like his mother. "Where is Neji? You seem to act crazy without him." Naruto blinked at Fugaku and chuckled. "I'll act crazy with it without my future husband. Neji doesn't control me. Watch yourself, Fugaku." Naruto looked over to Itachi, who was quietly minding his business. "There might be somebody in your clan that will be your downfall." Naruto left the conversation at that. He looked over towards Gaara to see Jiraiya standing up and looking to the council. The young teen here was being controlled. It was a seal that amplified his crazy tendencies and bloodlust. He might need therapy to see how bad it is normally, though I don't believe in locking him up. He is only 13. Naruto sighed calmly and walked over to Gaara. "Thank you, Jiraiya," Naruto said sweetly. He really meant it. He made the clone disappear and he ended up shaking Gaara. "Hey Gaara, let's get some food. What are you in the mood for?" Gaara opened his teal eyes. He immediately felt so much better. "I want to sleep. Can we eat later?" Naruto couldn't say no. "Yeah, let's introduce you to my friends. I'm sure they are about to take a group nap soon," Naruto said as him and Gaara walked out while the council along with the two loyal Sannin talked about the village and what really happened during the invasion. Naruto ended up dragging all his friends to the Hyuga clan. Everybody was down when they heard they were having a group nap. Naruto even left Gaara with Shikamaru for a little while he headed to grab Neji. Naruto came back with Neji and took them to a room in the clan that Naruto made. Since Hiyashi didn't like Naruto and Neji sleeping on the sparring room floor, Naruto made a room in the house where members of the clans could come and nap together. Though this was the first time it was used. The walls and floor were padded with comfy blankets. There was some couches, though you majority slept on the floor. There was a closet with blankets and pillows. Gaara looked around. He saw Kiba and Shino immediately huddle near one another. Gaara could tell they were going to date or they're already dating. "Gaara, would you like to lay with me and Shikamaru?" Choji asked. Naruto and Neji were talking in the corner about something and Gaara nodded, feeling calm. "Yes, thank you." Gaara moved to lay in the middle of them. Shikamaru looked over at Gaara and patted his hair. "It's just something about you goddesses." Gaara opened his teal eyes as he looked into Shikamaru's darker orbs. "You all seem to hypnotize the male population," Shikamaru said, and Gaara closed his eyes while Shukaku hummed a little. "I might have been wrong about who you would fall in love with in this life." "Huh?" Gaara asked as he was heading closer to Dreamland. "Sweet dreams," Shukaku said, and Gaara drifted to sleep. "I need to train him. He can already read and sense seals. I can help him with his chakra, and when I bring him back, you'll be able to teach him some medical techniques," Jiraiya said. Tsunade looked at all this paperwork that was left as Shizune and Shikaku got to sorting through what was a Hokage duty and what the council should be doing. "That's fine, but the wild child's hunch was correct," Tsunade said, holding up a piece of paper. It was from the oldest Uchiha son. The one who had the job of keeping the village and Uchihas in line. Killing off the elders, closely monitoring each clan closely to make sure nobody stepped out of line. He did a damned good try, and she believed that as their fourth Hokage, it should have went to Itachi Uchiha instead. Which was. Jiraiya wasn't paying attention to the first part of the meeting because he was removing the seal from the red-headed child. Naruto was basically coddling. Tsunade had spent her first week having the Sand renounce Gaara as a Sand shinobi so she could finally make him a leaf ninja, as well as making sure they didn't place a bounty on his head. Though when the Sand village realized that they were being played by the Sound village, they made sure they were able to patch up every wrong they committed against the Leaf village. They needed allies now that the rest of the world saw that they were once allied with Orochimaru. That Sasuke left the village, and the Uchihas have known. Jiraiya looked at Tsunade. She had only been doing this job for 3 weeks and she was ready to quit. She only motioned for the Anbu and handed her a list of names she wanted to take this mission. She needed the Junins to handle this. All her genin and promoted Chunin were attached to Sasuke. They would unnecessarily lay down their life for him, and she needed the future of the Leaf village. She couldn't squander their life like that. Naruto tilted his head as he walked into his nap room to see Gaara in there. Shikamaru was also in there, and so was Neji. Though Neji was in the corner reading a scroll with Ran laying on his lap, as Naruto left him in charge of watching Gaara. Naruto looked to the woman who he brought and sighed. I'm sorry I brought you out here, he's been sleeping a lot. Naruto said honestly. The woman pushed up her glasses and spoke softly. Sleep heals trauma. This might actually be in the way helping him calm his bloodlust and violent tendencies. You mind waking him up for me? Naruto shook his head. He woke up both Shikamaru and Gaara. Shikamaru sat up and looked around. Shikamaru, thank you for watching Gaara, but Neji was here. Naruto said. Gaara sat up and looked to Naruto. I invited him, he makes me feel calm. Naruto smiled to Gaara and spoke. Have you been sensitive to auras lately? Naruto asked and Gaara nodded. He yawned a little and Shikamaru sighed and leaned back. I can't say no to a goddess. Shikamaru said and Naruto hummed. Go sit by Neji, then you love sick puppy. Naruto said. Listening to Shikamaru groaned and complained. Shikamaru looked to Gaara and spoke. Want me to grab Choji and the others? Gaara lit up like a Christmas tree. He did like everybody he had met so far, and so he nodded, latching his hand to Naruto's as he spoke his appreciation for the deer. Naruto smiled brightly, and Shikamaru thought, I'd do anything for the goddesses. I'll be right back, Shikamaru said as Naruto sat and listened as Gaara was talking to his therapist. She was a sweet woman that resides in the Yamanaka clan, so she could go into Gaara's mind to assess the damage. As she traveled into Gaara's mind, who gave her full permission to. Gaara wanted to hurry up and become a ninja along with Artemis. To use his powers for good like he had chosen. Artemis was Mania's role model in all the lives they had met, and this is the one where Mania wanted to join Artemis and become a goddess that wasn't thought about in an ill way. The woman came back and wrote her finding on the paper. She looked to Gaara and Naruto and spoke calmly. The sleep is helping Gaara heal. He will forever have the bloodlust and violent tendencies. That is something that cannot be fixed. However, he will be able to control it and use it all will versus as erratic as he had done before. Naruto looked to Gaara to see him sleeping again. How long will he sleep like this? The woman gave him a smile. Probably another week, expect him to have a different personality once he wakes. Naruto nodded and the room to the door opened, which made Gaara open his eyes. Gaara, how are you feeling? Shino asked and Choji held multiple bags of food. I brought lunch, see if you can eat a little more today, Gaara. Choji said, and there was an excited bark and another voice. Gaara, let's nap together, Kiba said energetically and Shikamaru hummed. Gaara would rather nap with somebody who isn't loud. Naruto grabbed a bag of food and watched as all of his friends doted on Gaara. Naruto walked over to Neji and spoke. Is that how they were with me? Naruto asked, slurping up some noodles as Neji looked at the scene of reassuring head pats, and the others doting on Gaara. Yes, though they weren't as touchy. Shikamaru physically is keeping Gaara's attention on him, while the others are just doting on him like he is a child. Neji said as he was being fed by Naruto. Gaara look happy though. Naruto said calmly. He watched as Gaara held a small smile, nothing like his smiles when they first met. I believe the male population will continue to be drawn to the goddess. Though I suppose that isn't a bad thing. Neji said looking out to Gaara. He noticed that Sasuke still wasn't here and wanted to know just what the hell did the Uchiha clan doing to him. Why isn't it? Neji chuckled a little and patted Naruto on his head. Naruto's eyes fluttered closed at the contact before he opened them back up. The more people on your side, the easier to revolutionize. It just so happens the more people who think of you as a goddess than a demon, will make sure everybody sees you as a goddess. Neji said. He heard Gaara's chuckle and looked to see him blushing a bit and the other teens poking fun at him. You will soon be recognized as a goddess, Naruto, and I for one can't wait to show the village that you have always been a goddess. Naruto leaned into Neji as he placed his hands on a sleeping Ran. Thank you, Neji, Naruto said happily, and Neji nodded his head as he continued reading a scroll on his clansman jutsus. Naruto thought this situation was weird. He was sitting in the Hokage's office about 3 days later with Neji sitting next to him and Gaara sitting on the other side of him. Shikamaru was leaning against the wall right by the couch keeping an eye on Gaara, while Shino and Kiba stood in the middle right next to one another. Tsunade and Itachi was in the room, and so was Shikamaru's father and Shizune, the second advisor to Tsunade. It was silent. There was a seal up on the door, nobody could come in. Though Jiraiya seemed to sneak in through the window and closed that back. Nobody said anything, and so shockingly Kiba decided to speak. I'm sorry, what did you just say? Kiba said, he had amazing hearing along with Naruto. Though Kiba thinks maybe he heard it wrong and that Tsunade didn't say what she just said. You heard what I said. She said, though she said it in a calm manner. She honestly didn't want to repeat herself because she knew that everybody was still processing what she just said. I don't think you did. Shikamaru said, tilting his head. He dropped his arms and pushed himself off the wall and scratched his hair. Shino then spoke. Because to us it sounded like you said Sasuke left the village. Shino spoke after and Naruto tilted his head. Sasuke has specific instructions not to leave this village. Naruto said, feeling his anger rise. Itachi raised a brow. From who? Because he knew that the clan was going to disown him soon. Itachi said, pouring salt on the wounds of his brother's friends, and Naruto's eyes flashed as he looked at Itachi. From me. Naruto screamed loudly. Neji closed his eyes as he felt Naruto stand up. He looked at the woman who hasn't even been Hokage for that long and spoke. So instead of sending his friends who could talk sense into the brooding Uchiha, who did you send? Naruto was annoyed. He specifically told Sasuke that he would forcefully drag his ass back here by his damn throat if he left after that fucking serpent. Seasoned Junin. Tsunade said and Neji opened his mouth. I suggest you answer him the way he wants to be answered. Naruto is a Uzumaki before anything else. Neji said as he opened his eyes, looking as Gaara placed his hands in his lap. Lady Tsunade, with all due respect, whoever you sent will not get the job done. Sasuke may not be a prodigy like his older brother, but he damn sure isn't a disgrace. Naruto said. He sighed and closed his eyes. So where is he? Do you have any leads? Like what was the point of you telling us this and you had no information? Shikamaru asked, and Gaara spoke up. Is the Uchihas going to jail for aiding and abetting? Or are you going to let them off with a slap on the wrist? Gaara asked, and Naruto groaned and sat down, tapping his foot angrily. I know. Neji whispered and it seemed to make Naruto's anxiety calm, and he looked to Tsunade. Is there anything you can tell us? Naruto said calmly and that got everybody to look at Tsunade. Tsunade sighed and folded her arms. Sasuke went to Orochimaru for training. Though I think he mentioned something about coming back and slaughtering his clan. To rebuild the Uchihas with only him and Itachi. Naruto blinked. As dark and morbid as that sounded, it actually sounded decent. Sasuke leaving might actually do the village well actually. Shikamaru said, marinating over the facts. Everybody in the room did so, but only Shikaku and Neji seemed to understand what Shikamaru meant. What if we don't bring Sasuke back immediately? But how about we leave him to train a few years? 2 maybe 3 years. Shikaku said and Neji hummed. Make a deal with Sasuke. Get all the strength you need, but allow us to know your location so we can capture Orochimaru when his training is finished. Naruto gasped. Then we lock up the rotten Uchihas, and allow Sasuke to move the clan the way he wants, with the newfound strength he acquired from a Sannin. It sounded perfect. The others nodded at the plan, and so that was going to be the plan. Let Sasuke stay as long as he wanted to gain the power he needed or wanted. Sasuke relays what information he knows about Orochimaru to the Leaf to ensure Orochimaru gets captured. Sasuke then is able to revamp the Uchiha clan as he wants, save who he wants to save and repopulate the clan if a lot of lives are killed. It was a great plan. Though who is going to tell the village that Sasuke is missing? Itachi hummed. The Uchihas, they want to make it seem like Sasuke ran away from home and is out there lost. Or taken by an outsider. Itachi said and everybody nodded. I just wanted his friends to be the first to know. Tsunade said and everybody softened. Gaara yawned and Tsunade chuckled. Ah, you all are dismissed, though Naruto I need you to stay. Naruto's eyes immediately went to Gaara and Shikamaru spoke. I'll take him to the nap room. Shikaku tilted his head. Whatever room that was, he wanted to be in there. Stop doting on Gaara before he falls for you. Shikamaru chuckled and held Gaara's hand as Gaara barely could keep his eyes open. I'll be here to catch him, mother. Shikamaru said and Naruto rolled his eyes and Kiba shouted. Party in the nap room. Akamaru barked happily and Shino hummed. You are going to sleep. Hana tells me you didn't sleep last night. Shino said in a scolding manner and Kiba looked the other way to avoid a scolding. Neji didn't move. He looked to Naruto and saw Naruto looking back at him. I'll be alright. You can head back with the others. Neji shrugged and Naruto sighed, moving in closer to look at Tsunade and Jiraiya. I want to take you on a training trip. In that trip I want to help you master sealing, and using the Kyuubi's chakra. Tsunade will be sending mail so that you can also learn medical ninjutsu. Neji and Naruto blinked. How long is the trip? Naruto asked, and Jiraiya spoke. 2 to 3 years. Naruto blinked and looked at Neji. Neji very silently looked to Naruto and spoke lowly. I want to say no. Naruto said, and Neji shook his head. You said you were going to learn sealing, for your bow and arrows and for my clan. Neji said lowly, and nobody heard them, they just saw mouths moving. I don't want to away from you all. Why can't I train in the village? Naruto whined, and Neji chuckled a little. We will still be here, we all can write you, and we will be sitting here waiting for your return. Naruto nodded and turned back. I accept, however I cannot leave until Gaara is healed, and that should be in about 4 days. Naruto said, and of course Tsunade and Jiraiya agreed. Perfect, me and Jiraiya can get your training regime together, and you can spend time with your friends. He'll be waiting for you at the gate at 7 a.m. Tsunade said, and Naruto nodded, standing up and holding his hand out to Neji. Thank you, see you both soon. Naruto waved and he left with Neji. Naruto packed, and he moved slowly. It was the day before he left, and Gaara had stopped sleeping, and he actually was up and awake more now that he was healed. He mostly hung out with the group since that what they were all doing, and he even trained with them. Naruto was spending every waking moment with his friends, and Neji. Ran would be coming with him obviously. Though nobody else would be coming with him. He looked to the door and saw Gaara standing there. His arms are folded, and the personality switch was true. Gaara definitely didn't act like he did when he was being controlled. He even wore different clothes suited to how he felt as a goddess. Before he wore like very heavy sand-resistant clothes, he even had a huge gourd stuck to his back. He had no use for the gourd now. He could definitely conjure up sand at will now, though Gaara was more level-headed as well. He didn't speak out, and he managed to keep slick comments to himself. He was also growing his hair out like Naruto said he should, but decided to that maybe he should cut a design into his hair possibly. You look sad. You look like you aren't coming back to us, Artemis. Gaara's voice even seemed to be more tenor-like, a little on the high side, though you could tell that he was still a guy. I just don't want to leave you all. Call me selfish, Naruto said, closing his bag. He brought the necessary items. He knew that when his alarm went off at 6 am, that Ran was most likely going to drag him out of bed. You aren't selfish, Gaara said, holding out his hand. Naruto took it, looking at Gaara, who was only a mere inch taller than him. You are going to miss always having somebody to talk to. Everybody will be alright, and I'll make sure Neji doesn't get all dark and twisty. Naruto chuckled. He sighed. Please keep Neji occupied when you are home. Don't let him sulk away in his room or in our sparring room. Naruto said, and said person was standing about a foot away from them. I will not be sulking, I will be training. I had to be able to stand next to a goddess. Naruto smiled and looked at Neji. You all should be training seriously then. I shouldn't be the only one to progress. Naruto said as they all walked towards the napping room. It was their favorite spot. If they weren't training, they were there sleeping or talking or passing the time. It was their sanctuary, and Naruto only wished Sasuke could see it before he decided to leave. Of course, Gaara said, calmly walking next to Naruto. Gaara, who have you decided to train with? Naruto asked as they stumbled upon the room. Neji had already said that he was going to train with Hiashi and a branch member. I will be training with Anko. Naruto hummed a little, and Neji wasn't in the slightest surprised that is who he decided to train with. Shikamaru said he was going to train with his father and Asuma. Gaara spoke after, and Naruto hummed. You and Shikamaru? Naruto asked as he stopped and looked at Gaara. Gaara very seriously looked at Naruto and spoke. There is like a little string that seems to connect me and Shikamaru, though Shukaku won't tell me what that is. Naruto tilted his head, and Kurama hummed. It's the same string that connects you and Neji. Kurama has no idea either. Maybe with age we'll find out? Naruto spoke, and Gaara nodded, though as the duo talked the room around them looked to the two goddesses. By now Naruto and Gaara had told everybody of whose souls they carried and the demons they also carried, and so their closest friends knew they were in fact goddess. Many of them took solace in the fact that they were favored by not one but two goddesses. Though two of them out of the bunch felt more than just solace when they were around a specific goddess. They felt like every worry would be washed away. I'll send an animal with letters every day. You can also update me on the string as you get older. Naruto said and Gaara nodded. They finally finished their small talk and looked to the room. Shikamaru, you promised you'd show me how to play shogi. Gaara said as he walked over to Shikamaru, Kiba and Choji. Shikamaru nodded and ushered the boy over and Naruto chuckled. Shikamaru, you favor us goddesses. Naruto said walking by, and Shikamaru smiled. Because we are favored by you all. Shikamaru said as he started explaining the game. Naruto walked over to Shino and Neji who were talking. It was lost as Naruto laid on his back in the middle of them and felt Ran place his whole body on him. He felt Ran nuzzle into him and calmly opened his black orbs as he watched Naruto. Ran had been more cuddly since the exams. Naruto didn't mind it. He actually loved it. Can you believe in the room the only chunin is Shikamaru? Neji said and Naruto chuckled. Shino snorted and Naruto sighed. He's a Nara, one fancy speech was all it took, Naruto said as he yawned. We still didn't eat dinner. Neji said, though the minute he locked hands with Naruto food was the last thing on his mind. Shino was soon yawning anyways. The others were moving to get comfortable anyways. Gaara held Shikamaru's hand and drifted to sleep. Shikamaru wasn't far behind and Akamaru was already snoring loudly. Soon everybody was sleeping and when Hiyashi came in to tell the children that dinner was ready he didn't even have it in his heart to wake them up. He saw Naruto and Neji holding one another's hands as Ran laid in the middle of them. Kiba somehow found his way near Shino and their feet were linked though they were sleeping like the letter L. The only thing touching was their feet. Gaara laid in the middle of Shikamaru and Choji. Choji and Gaara's feet were intertwined though nothing else as Shikamaru and Gaara were holding hands like Naruto and Neji though there was a pillow in the middle separating them. He closed the door back and headed back to the dining room. The next morning, Naruto stood at the gate with his bags talking to his friends. Neji wasn't much of a morning person and so he stood there though a little less enthusiastic as the others. Though when Jiraiya walked up they went silent and Naruto smiled. That's my cue. Naruto said though nobody made any moves to leave, or even say anything. Neji even opened his eyes fully and looked at Naruto. You come back to us Artemis. Gaara said first. Naruto chuckled and soon he was engulfed in hugs from his friends. They all pulled away and stepped back and let Neji have the last hug and words. You are going to come back an exceptional ninja. Do you prefer Naruto, or Artemis from me? Neji asked because he didn't know which one Naruto liked more. You can call me whatever you want Neji. Naruto said sweetly. Neji hummed and hugged Naruto. Closing his eyes since this will be the last in a few years he would be able to hug Naruto. I'll have an answer for you as soon as you return then. Neji said pulling away. Naruto opened his eyes and stepped away, looking at how everybody looked at them. I will see you all soon. As soon as me and Jiraiya rests I'll write your letters. Naruto waved and watched all his friends wave. Bye Naruto, Artemis. The group said and Naruto waved before turning around and walking out of the gates with Ran and Jiraiya. I miss him already. Neji admitted, and Gaara patted his back. We do too. Shino said in response as they watched Naruto leave. Naruto took a deep breath as the wind blew strongly. He had his hair down for once. He closed his eyes and exhaled, feeling at peace and calm for once in his life. He heard the footsteps travel next to him and he looked up. They stood right at the entrance to the land of Fire border. Naruto turned back and sighed. 3 long years. Naruto said though the training was worth it. He felt better and he finally felt like he can access everything in his body. He looked to Ran who grew when Naruto grew. He was definitely taller than most foxes, though he was still the gentle fox he was when Naruto met him. You change a lot. You seem a lot more refined now. Jiraiya added. Naruto smiled a little. He was ready to go home and see everybody. Who did you miss the most? Another strong wind blew and Naruto's hair that was only stained blonde 3 years ago was now blonde and red. Though the red came only after he mastered Kurama's chakra as well. Though that question was silly, of course there's one person that he missed more than anybody else. Mania. Naruto said quickly, though Kurama chuckled a little. Did you forget that you have a husband that was constantly asking about your well-being in the letters? Naruto's mouth made an "oh" and still he replied with, I missed Mania the most. Though I do miss Neji. Kurama roared inside of Naruto, though he was certain that the minute he stepped foot in the Leaf Village, Naruto would know who exactly he missed the most. I am a goddess Jiraiya. Of course I'm refined. Naruto answered a while after the questions was even spoke of, as he stepped foot into the land of fire, and the minute he did he could feel something dragging his very being back to Konoha. He was off-put at first, though he calmly exhaled and looked towards Jiraiya. "Do you think they will recognize me?" Naruto asked as they walked at a pace that didn't sit right all with Naruto. Though Naruto endured and continued walking. "I believe they will," Jiraiya said cause he could tell how nervous Naruto sounded. "You've changed a lot, though your aura is the same," Jiraiya said, and Naruto sighed. "If anything I'm sure Neji will remember," Jiraiya said, and Naruto smiled a little. They walked for another day before they were standing right in front of the gates of the Leaf Village. Naruto was nervous all of a sudden, though he still walked through. He could hear the chatter slow and sometimes stopped as he looked around the village. There was one person he wanted to see, though he managed to see all of his friends heading to the Hyuga clan, and he lit up light a Christmas tree and he called out to the person he missed the most. "Neji." Kurama laughed within Naruto, because Kurama knew that Naruto would call out to his mate first, even though Naruto claimed that he missed Gaara the most. Jiraiya was walking slowly behind Naruto to see how this would play out. The Junin stopped in his tracks when he heard his name. The voice was familiar, but then it wasn't. Their group of friends stopped and turned to look at Neji as Neji turned around and heard footsteps jogging. "Neji," the voice said again, and Neji looked and he got a glimpse of Blue before he was being hugged. Neji looked down and saw blue eyes looking at him with their chin on Neji's chest. "Neji, I'm home." Neji closed his eyes and hugged the goddess in his arms tightly. The 17-year-old smiled to himself as he spoke. They both hugged one another for a long time. I suppose the saying is true. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. "Naruto, welcome home," Neji said softly, and they were silent before Gaara spoke. "Welcome home, Artemis," Gaara said, a little happy. He dropped Shikamaru's hand and walked over in time for Neji to pull away from Naruto. Naruto looked to Gaara and smiled. "I'm home, Mania. How has Shikamaru been treating you?" Naruto said, giving a quick hug before going back to Neji. Leaning into him as Neji tossed an arm around him. "I treat Gaara well. We have only been dating for a couple months," Shikamaru admitted. He and Gaara were the last to get together. Kiba and Shino got together the minute Kiba turned 16. "Shikamaru is really sweet, plus when I had my first episode, he took me to our spot," Gaara said calmly. Naruto nodded his head in approval. They all stood there and caught up. Jiraiya doesn't think he's watched teenagers interact like this for a long time. "Fish cakes, we have to report to Tsunade." Naruto wanted to ignore Jiraiya. "Tsunade can wait. He was catching up with his friends. We can go with you. We can continue talking about what happened in the 3 years." Kiba said. Everybody nodded in agreement, and Neji dropped his arm to latch onto Naruto's hand. Naruto was happily listening to the gossip over the years, as they made their way to Tsunade. They stopped talking for a little and walked into the room. The minute they did, they all froze. They all looked to the figure in the room who was mid-sentence. He stopped and looked at the others and held a small smile. "I'm home." Everybody blinked before Sasuke activated his Sharingan and quickly moved as the wall shattered behind him. He looked at the person responsible for the carnage and he smiled at him. "You and your flares of anger." Naruto pulled his hand from the wall. He looked at Sasuke and hugged him. Sasuke released his Sharingan as all of his other friends hugged him. "You could have at least wrote to us. Do you know how many times we thought Orochimaru was going to take you?" Shino said, and Sasuke knew he was wrong. "I know, but I really wanted to one-up my clan. I'm sorry I didn't keep you all in the loop." Everybody pulled away, and Shikamaru folded his arms. "So before you enact your revenge, spend some time with your friends. We are all Chunin here, besides Neji." Neji tilted his head. "It's not my fault. I am a year older than you all. It's only right that I'm a Chunin," Neji said, and Sasuke frowned. "How is Naruto a Chunin? He was training with Jiraiya?" Naruto chuckled. "I took the exam in Kirigakure. When I went to repair the lands there, I even met a god instead of a goddess. His name is Poseidon," Naruto said, and Sasuke tilted his head. "God?" Gaara snorted. "Ah yes, you have so much to listen to. Make sure you pay attention, Sasuke," Gaara said, and Tsunade just ushered the teens out, deciding that Jiraiya will just tell her about Naruto. "Sasuke, you have to see our spot. It's amazing," Kiba said, and Akamaru barked loudly. Naruto chuckled as he looked at Neji. "You look really good." Naruto said out loud as he admired Neji's face. Neji, who was listening to Shikamaru, tuned him out as he looked down at Naruto. He placed a hand on Naruto's cheek and spoke. "You look more like a goddess today than you did 3 years ago." "I'm so blessed," Neji said truthfully, and Naruto blushed and closed his eyes as he heard Sasuke speak. "No way. Sakura and Rock Lee got together?" Sasuke said, and there was a choirs of "yeah and I know right." Though Naruto was on cloud 9. Naruto peeked his head into Neji's room and saw him sleeping. He did just return from a mission yesterday, and so he was probably recovering. Naruto looked around the room and noticed his room changed a lot. He calmly opened the door just enough for Rand to walk in and head inside. Naruto at first was going to turn around, but he decided just to head inside. He closed the door and headed to the bed. He had napped with Neji plenty of times growing up, though this seemed a lot more intimate. Naruto was never cuddled up into Neji's arms, though since that thought crossed his mind it wasn't leaving. He felt his body just melt at the way that it imagined Neji holding Naruto. Naruto wondered what it would be like to be held all day by Neji. He was home and Neji was home. Maybe they could stay in bed and talk to one another? They were 16, maybe think about rings? And a wedding? Well, maybe they should start a little smaller with dates. Yeah, Naruto thought mentally. Let's do a date first. He finished mentally. He did just get home a month ago. Yeah, they were able to get a little more intimate, but Naruto doesn't think he should throw himself at Neji. They should continue the slow pace they had. There was a reason they were inseparable at such a young age. They were close and wanted to be more affectionate than they were able to be, though Naruto doesn't think he should outright and just jump Neji. But he didn't want to be the prude 13-year-old he was 3 years ago. So he only calmly went to open the window a little. He then calmly slid into the bed and looked out the window as he waited for Neji to wake up. Neji, who was still asleep, felt somebody in the bed. Though unconscious, he knew it had to be Naruto. Naruto shivered a little as he heard Neji's sleepy voice 3 years later. He felt Neji rearrange them and then heard a sigh as he went back to sleep. Naruto was still little spoon, though he was tucked under Neji's neck. His back was still to Neji's chest, and so Neji placed his hands at Naruto's waist and intertwined their legs. It was a very intoxicating hug for Naruto. Naruto's head was tucked under Neji's chin, and so he could hear his breathing more in this hold. Naruto is swooning. He moved his hand to lay on top of Neji's. He lightly traced over the skin as he looked at the kids of the clan play. Naruto hummed a little tune as he passed the time. "I'm surprised you even had a mate," Kurama said. Naruto closed his eyes as he continued to trace all over the back of Neji's hand. "Why?" Naruto asked, because for as long as he could remember Kurama always called Neji his mate, or his destined one. Artemis swore off men. She never married, though the one who carried her soul before married. Though she also didn't do what she was supposed to do. Naruto moved Neji's hand to his cheek, nuzzling into the warm hand. Maybe she just hated men? Neji is a special case. You both clicked almost immediately. Well, really, after he saw your friends falling for you. Naruto snorted. He didn't sense or feel Neji waking up. He was jealous, though it's fine. Neji is adorable. Sneaking into my bed? Naruto smiled. He turned to Neji, who still had his eyes closed, but he was awake. Naruto placed a hand on Neji's cheek. "Ohio, Neji-kun." Neji blinked. Naruto just called him kun? Neji smiled and placed a hand over Naruto's cheeks. "You are adorable. You are so cute," Neji said calmly, closing his eyes back as Naruto smiled warmly. "I wanted to spend time with you, but you were sleeping. So I opened the window and watched the scenery," Naruto said, and Neji opened his eyes. "You want to spend time with me? What would you like to do?" Neji asked, running a hand through Naruto's hair, hearing him sigh in pleasure. "I want to stay like this? I want to be close to you." Neji adored Naruto. He was honest about everything, and didn't care how much it embarrassed him or made him nervous. "We can be this close," Neji trailed, leaning into Naruto's ear. "Or even closer if you would like." Neji watched as Naruto shivered a little, and Neji smiled. He headed back to his position as he rubbed Naruto's back and spoke to him about his mission. "Your mission sounded tough," Naruto said, though he wasn't even listening. He was calmly drowning in the touches of Neji. "It wasn't, though I didn't want to go on it. Especially since you just got back. I too wanted to spend time with you," Neji admitted, though Naruto knew even if Neji didn't admit to it. There was a reason Neji knew he had to beat men off with a stick. "You're so sweet, it's kind of gross." Naruto chided. Neji chuckled. He fondly moved and laid on his back. Naruto sat up and looked down at Neji. "Well, it's your fault, wild child." Naruto snorted. He hasn't been called wild child in years. He sighed and laid back down. This time his body was covering Neji's. Neji sighed and spoke. "I've had enough affection for the day," Neji said. Naruto looked up at Neji and blinked. Neji looked as if he was serious, but all Naruto did was smile at him and place a chaste kiss to Neji's cheek and spoke. "Too bad," Naruto said, and Neji's eyes fluttered closed, but he wasn't annoyed in the slightest. The spot where Naruto kissed was tingling. "I'm not ready to leave your space yet," Naruto said kindly. He sat up and straddled Neji's lap and pulled Neji up. Neji watched as Naruto's newly colored hair filtered around his shoulders and back. He held a small smile and Neji just couldn't help himself. "You are an attention-seeking goddess." Naruto chuckled and leaned back, watching as Neji leaned forward. Neji grabbed Naruto's chin, watching as his cheeks burned a little brightly. "Ah, you'll have to wine and dine me if you want to kiss Naruto." Naruto gasped at the audacity and Neji chucked and wrapped his arms around Naruto's waist. Naruto snorted and planted a kiss to Neji's forehead. "Alright then, let's have a date tonight then." "Your treat." Neji hummed and nodded. "Fine then, let me rest a little more then." Neji laid back down and Naruto just laid down next to him. "Sweet dreams, Neji-kun," Naruto said as he watched Neji fall asleep. "So I was thinking about what kind of revenge I would enact," Sasuke said as he laid out within the nap room. Neji and Naruto weren't even in the room at the moment. "What were you thinking, Sasuke? If it involved blood I might be of help," Gaara said, ignoring the look from Shikamaru. Sasuke frowned and sighed. "The clan seems a lot nicer to you though. Is it because of your training with the Rouge Sannin?" Kiba asked, laying on top of Shino's chest. Shino only looked at the ceiling as the room fell silent again. "What if you marry a man? Make the clan slowly die out? Only for you to be repopulating it without anybody noticing?" Choji said. "Think about it," and Shikamaru hummed. "What if you let them disown you, but just start a new clan? Marry somebody that will amplify your genetics," Shikamaru said, and still they were at a standstill. Though Naruto and Neji were talking with the council, presenting their case as to why they believed the branch clan should have those seals removed and be able to coexist with the other Hyugas. Hiashi had no idea that this is what Neji's grand plan was. Neji had always had a dream of completing something and he wouldn't rest until it was completed, though Hiashi should have saw it coming. Neji did come from the branch family. Hiashi removed the seal from his head, offering life in the main family. Why would he think Neji would be content in the main family? His family that he grew up with were in the branch family. He of course wants to give the same support. So when people asked for his opinion, Hiashi was the first one to agree with the children. "We don't need to get them chained like that. They have lives and futures and children too. Their life shouldn't be tossed away because a head member can't fight correctly," Hiashi said, and then he spoke a sentence that allowed people to see things in the kid's perspective. "This is modern-day slavery and there shouldn't be a reason for it." Naruto and Neji held hands. Neji squeezed it tightly as Ran nuzzled into Naruto's leg. They thought Hiashi would be the reason that they would ultimately lose against this, though Hiashi seemed to support it. Plus, Neji is the head of the clan. If this is something he wishes to do, then legally we do not have the power to stop him. Neji's eyes widened, and Naruto looked up at Neji. "Since when?" Naruto asked lowly, and Neji shrugged his shoulders. Hiashi produced a folder and handed it to Neji. Hiashi stood and placed his hands in his sleeves. "I was only supposed to hold this seat until Neji turned 16. He is married, and though they don't have an heir on the way, I'm sure shortly they will." Hiashi bowed and the door opened, revealing Jiraiya, and Hiashi used that as an excuse to leave the building. "He just put you on the spot," Naruto chided, wrapping his hand around Neji's waist. Neji chuckled and spoke. "Well, since I'm head, that is what I shall be doing. Sorry to waste your time. However, since I have you all here." Neji looked Fugaku. He tilted his head. "Fugaku, isn't it time you stepped down and let Sasuke take over? He is heir and I think he found himself a wife?" Neji said, but Naruto was confused. He didn't think Sasuke found somebody willing to follow him to the ends of this earth. "To my understanding, she is also an Uzumaki like Naruto." Naruto blinked, and there was the door slamming open. Everybody looked to the door to see Sasuke and some red-headed woman. She wore glasses and placed her hand on her hip. Sasuke, you know the travel was long. I really would like to rest. Sasuke made no moves to speak to her, but he patted her head. She quickly calmed her nerves, and Naruto looked up at Neji. You all are hiding things from me. I dislike that. Neji chuckled. Ah, Sasuke told me because we were on that mission together. I don't think any of your other friends know yet. Naruto nodded and Sasuke hummed. I will be leaving the Uchiha clan effectively immediately. I have found no use in brides within the clan and will be starting a new clan with my future wife Karen. Sasuke dropped the paper on the table and smirked. And since I am the second heir, by law, I have the power to deny becoming heir to a clan that's the first heir didn't want. Sasuke looked to Naruto and waved. Karen, I know you just got in today, but would you like to meet my friends and a cousin of yours? Sasuke said, holding out his hand, and the woman sighed. Only if this place somehow had a killer bed. Karen said, and Sasuke hummed. Don't worry, your cousin is caring and designed this room to fit the needs of everybody. Sasuke said as they walked out the room. Neji hummed and spoke. I suppose we will take our leave now. Me and my wife does have a date planned. Neji said as him and Naruto left the council room. Naruto looked up at the setting sky. He watched as the sun quickly hid from the day only to rest so it can reappear tomorrow. Naruto looked down and saw Neji looking at him. Do I have something on my face? Naruto asked, and Neji smiled. Yeah, you do. Neji said calmly, and Naruto tilted his head, but before he can ask Neji what was on his face, he felt Neji's lips hover over his before he sealed the kiss. Naruto's eyes fluttered close, but a blush completely covered his cheeks as he wrapped his arms around Neji's neck, and Neji deepened the kiss for a little before he pulled away. Naruto blinked and Neji spoke softly. Too much? Neji asked with a cute blush on his nose. Naruto buried his face in Neji's chest, waiting for Neji to wrap his hands around him, which he did shortly after. No, I like it. A lot. Naruto answered honestly. Neji hummed, leaning down to kiss his forehead as they headed into the ramen shop to have their date. While Neji and Naruto were having a date, the nap room in the Hyuga clan was dead silent. Before everybody scolded Sasuke from hiding his soon-to-be wife from them, for 2 years. Even though he had returned 6 months ago. What? You all are meeting her now? Sasuke said, but that did nothing to calm his friends, while his wife Karen chuckled amongst herself as she gets to see her stoic husband in his comfort zone. Everything was coming together. Sasuke watched along with his friends while many of the Uchihas were being locked up and escorted to the nearest holding place. Sasuke watched as Itachi managed to rebuild and restructure the Uchiha clan, as well as make a specific part of the clan Uzu Uchiha clan that him and Karen will get started. Karen seemed to adore her cousin in Gaara. The three of them were inseparable, and even when Choji tossed his girlfriend Karui into the mix, all of them managed to get along and talk as if they had endless things to talk about. Naruto could slowly feel the lands coming together. He still had to visit a Megacure, that land was calling out to him, as well as Uzu Shiogakure. Naruto knew it was in ruins, but he could fix that, maybe usher some Uzumakis that are still alive back home. Though what had Naruto's attention is that all of the branch members walked around with their foreheads exposed. Naruto watched in happiness, as the long days and the chakra exhaustion nights that after 4 months, the entire branch family managed to get those seals off. That was worth everything. To see the Hyuga clan combine and become one clan felt so good to Naruto. Naruto waved to the little cousins who didn't even have to get a seal yet. He watched with his arms folded. It had been 4 months of Naruto removing seals, and of Sasuke and Itachi cleaning house. Things were settling and things were calm, and with it being calm it begged the question of Kiba boldly declaring, "When are you both getting married?" Naruto and Neji, who stood there stunned, looked at Kiba and their friends confused. "We are already married?" Naruto was confused. They were technically married, and they embraced that fact that they were married. "And actually wedding? If anybody here has loved one another for a while, it's you and Neji," Gaara said calmly, looking at Naruto. Naruto blinked a little. "You did come home about 5 months ago? Maybe you both start moving a little quicker?" Kurama said, and Naruto looked down at Ran. "Do what you wish, Artemis." Ran said calmly, and Naruto looked up to Neji to see him chuckling. Naruto was confused, but Neji laughed loudly a little, full enjoyment of this situation as he looked at Naruto. "Am I not your husband? You value Ran's opinion more than mine's?" Naruto opened his mouth and Neji smiled a little. Yes, you are the goddess of wildlife and hunting, though I am your husband. Neji lightly scolded and Naruto hummed. Did you know Artemis never married? Naruto said calmly. He linked hands with Neji and shrugged his shoulders. Maybe a lack of wedding is influenced by Artemis, but me and Neji are technically married and have been since I was 10, so no need for a wedding. Unless Neji wants one. Naruto looked to Neji and Neji tilted his head. Artemis never married? So what did she do? Was she promiscuous? Neji was actually interested in the topic. She never was, she used to judge me and Shu's relationship. Shikamaru tilted his head. Huh? Shikamaru said and Gaara rolled his eyes while the other listened. Keep up dear. Their past lives duh. Kiba said as if he knew but he had to ask Shino to keep him up to date. Artemis is also known as the goddess of childbirth and midwifery. She swore off men and protected the woman of her time. Naruto said calmly and clapped his hands. So I think that is the reason why me and Neji are fine not doing anything. I hope we love one another and don't need to tell the entire village we are happy. If my husband agrees. Neji blinked and wrapped his arms around Naruto. Naruto sighed and Gaara chuckled. No wedding, can we at least have a cake though? Gaara loved cake, he wanted the dessert at him and Shikamaru's wedding. Naruto smiled softly. Yeah of course. Now don't we have a date to ruin? Naruto said asking about Sasuke and Karen having a date during their friend time. Though it seemed that both Karen and Sasuke had that same thought as they emerged from the food place in which they would be having a date in, with mass amounts of food. You're going to eat all that food? Kiba asked, a dumb expression crossing his face and Shino merely chuckled behind his friend group. That chuckle made Kiba's face go up in flames as he ignored his group and looked up to Shino scolding him. Though Shino only looked down and told the pup he was cute, and that's why he chuckled. Which earned Kiba slamming his face into Shino's chest to hide the blush. We were heading to the nap room. Assuming that's where you would all be. Karen said, looking mostly at Gaara and Naruto. Her favorite people even over her husband-to-be. Everybody headed over to the nap room. There was always a stampede of people coming through the Hyuga clan. Neji even had paperwork because him and Naruto were looking over the clan's rules and how it looked to outsiders. Neji strived to make the calm better than it had been before and he was thankful that Naruto was on his side every step of the way. As he looked over the paperwork, he often than not seemed to get distracted as Naruto's soft laughter would ring out at the most random times. The way Naruto latched onto his hands without a second thought. Also the way he furrowed his brows, and Naruto would immediately kiss his cheek to fix his face while returning back to his rowdy friends and family. Neji was over the moon in love with Naruto and he was actually ready to take the next step with him. He knew he had to wait until the other parties in this room were ready to have a child so that their children could grow up with one another, though seeing Naruto cling to him as they finally become one, both body and soul didn't seem to leave Neji's mind. Even when he locked eyes with blue ones, and a small smile reached his face. Neji leaned down and kissed Naruto passionately. The talking around them reduced themselves to warbled noises as Naruto and Neji focused solely on the other. Naruto's heart was hammering in his ears as Neji pulled away and kissed his forehead. Naruto closed his eyes and tossed himself in Neji's chest. Neji rubbed his back up and down. Boo, you both don't want to have a wedding. Why not? Karen said to both Neji and Naruto and suddenly their friends were back on the topic of a wedding and Neji sighed. If you all want a wedding, propose to your significant other right now. Neji said and that one sentence is what shut the room up. Naruto snickered lowly but Neji shrugged and ate his portion as the room went quiet with flushed cheeks. I didn't think we would argue. Naruto said calmly, filtering around the home packing his bag. Neji rarely ever found himself angry at the goddess. Things were relatively good but here Naruto was packing to go to a megacure and Uzushiogakure only after Neji had Naruto for 6 months. When Naruto had been gone for 3 years. Why do you think we are arguing right now Naruto? Neji asked and Naruto sighed. Neji I can't not go. I can't fully be with you unless the lands are healed. I want to stay but it will literally eat away at me. Naruto said raising his voice slightly and Neji could tell he was really distressed. I know. I don't want to leave you either. Why don't you just come with me? Is there anything else that needs to be done? Naruto asked, dropping his bag and walking to wrap his hands around Neji. Neji placed his hand on Naruto's cheek. Then we come back? The others should be ready to marry and then we can have a home, maybe start thinking about children? Naruto asked softly. Neji was mad, but of course his goddess of a wife always approached him in a calm manner. They were literally a match made in heaven. You can come with me. You don't want to travel with me? I am your wife, Naruto said, and Neji sighed. Don't use that tone with me. You know I'm a sucker for your goddess voice. Naruto tilted his head and Neji sighed. Your tone of voice depends on the situation. Whenever you are trying to persuade me you use your goddess tone. Naruto hummed. Well, I really want you to come with me, Naruto said, and Neji sighed and tightened his hold on Naruto. Naruto chuckled softly, knowing he's convinced Neji to come with him. I supposed, because who else is going to watch you to make sure you don't die of chakra exhaustion? Naruto snorted. Neji, I'm so lucky to have you. Neji sighed and pulled away and kissed Naruto on his forehead, but Naruto moved to lock their lips together. Not that he didn't enjoy the small affections, but he wanted more affection. What if Naruto postponed his departure? He thought softly as he heard Ron's feet padded out of the room and the door closed behind him. Naruto, don't, Neji said, trying to pull away from Naruto. Naruto pulled away and tilted his head. He didn't say anything, but he undid his ponytail and looked up at Neji. Don't what? You don't find me attractive? Naruto asked. He watched as Neji sighed and ran a hand through his hair. Don't do that. You can't seduce me with your eyes, Neji said, though Naruto chuckled and hummed. Fine, Naruto said. He stepped back and closed his eyes. He held a small blush on his cheek and opened his eyes. If you aren't ready, you aren't ready. We should pack then, Naruto said, changing the subject, but that made Neji upset as well. Naruto knew he made him upset, and so Naruto turned around. After looking at packing some more, he could feel Neji stew. Neji wasn't anything but a man-child Naruto had to coax into telling his real feelings and being more intimate. Though Naruto knew that Neji wasn't being honest, and so when he saw Neji looking annoyed. I'll swear to Kami, Naruto. Neji was getting annoyed. Naruto licked his lips and wrapped his arms around Neji's neck. Naruto's blue eyes bore into Neji. So have you decided what you wanted to do? Because if you are ready, I'm ready, yeah? Naruto said, and Neji spoke calmly. For a goddess, you really are manipulative. Naruto smiled fondly. He watched as Neji's eyes turned heated and Naruto felt his heartbeat fondly. You do what makes you feel good, okay? Naruto said as Neji pushed Naruto down on the bed. You do know I love you, during our fights and during this cuddling and even when you are being a wild child. Naruto smiled softly. Neji and Naruto started slowly stripping out of their clothes and Naruto hummed. You better love me, I'll sick Ran and the rest of my animals on you if you didn't. Neji exhaled. What did he expect being in love with a nature freak like his goddess? I love you too, Neji. A lot, really, Naruto said, and he was rewarded with Neji kissing him passionately. Naruto felt like jello. He allowed Neji to do what made him feel good, and Naruto was happy that Neji was finding entertainment with his body. Artemis swore off men, huh? Naruto spoke as he watched Neji place hickeys on his thighs. Naruto brought Neji to his face. Both looked at one another with a soft look before Naruto answered his question. I would never be able to survive without Neji. Artemis was stronger than I'll ever be. Naruto lost his train of thought as him and Neji begun their slow and passionate lovemaking. The next day around 8 am, Naruto and Neji were packed and standing at the gates but with their friends. They were talking fondly because now there wasn't a time stamp, they would be home as soon as the lands were healed. Gaara and Karen looked almost heartbroken at the fact that their living family member was leaving again. Cheer up, or at least have your mates cheer you up, Naruto said softly, looking at his favorite people outside of Neji. Neji almost wanted to laugh at how attached people were to Naruto even after the years passed. Yes, I love Shikamaru, but I love you more, Gaara said, and Shikamaru snorted, kissing Gaara on his cheek anyways, and Naruto smiled. You say that, but then you take a 3-year mission and come home and the first person you call out to is your husband, Naruto said, and Neji hummed. Oh, are you saying that you missed Gaara the most until you saw me? Neji said, wrapping his arms around Naruto's neck. Naruto smiled fondly and looked to Sasuke. Take care of my cousin. Me and Neji will be home as soon as the land stop crying, Naruto said as their friends waved. Naruto and Neji smiled and waved. They were heading out of the gates, and as they were leaving, Gaara pouted and looked to Shikamaru. Yes, Gaara, I will shower you in attention in the form of a nap. Shikamaru said, and Shino spoke. To the nap room, Shino said, yawning because he was tired too. It had been years. The restoring of the lands is all anybody could be heard talking about. Though the lands were restored and Naruto and Neji had not been home yet, a lot of people were starting to assume the worst. Especially Gaara. Gaara and Shikamaru had married and had a child in the years that Naruto and Neji were out in the lands. Their little 4-year-old boy Shikadai's birthday was today. The little brainiac took after his father in more way than one. He definitely had Gaara's teal eyes though. So as they had all their children's parties in the nap room, it was something they did to be closer to Naruto and Neji in a sense. However, Naruto and Neji had been in Uzu alive and well, helping the Uzumaki clan get back on their feet. Of course they weren't staying. Neji was head back in Konoha and the laws of the land state that Naruto is to be there with him. However, just because they were helping Uzu doesn't mean they weren't busy. Naruto had a daughter and a son. Both came looking like Naruto spit them right out, but that wasn't the point. Both were Hyugas and both were graced with the Byakugan. Blonde and red hair, 2 whisker marks in each cheek. His daughter was the oldest, but the heir to the clan was definitely his son since again, the land's rules. They were walking back with their twins. It didn't help that Naruto was pregnant with his 3rd child. He left his family with promises to come back as Ran led the 4-year-olds on back so that it would be quicker. Naruto and Neji held hands as he listened to their children talk happily. A long 6-year mission, Naruto now being 22 and Neji being 23. Mira, Micah, Neji called. Both children stopped their bickering and Naruto smiled happily. My family is so cute, Naruto said softly, watching as the children started talking happily again, their past beef already forgotten. You haven't seen Mania in a long time. Karen either. Naruto smiled, snuggled into Neji as they walked and he huffed. But my family and Neji. Kurama didn't argue. He knew well that after Naruto were to cease living, he would as well. The lands were complete. He had finished what Artemis had set out doing, at least for now. So he would rest and wait until he would be sealed into the next Artemis down the line, but until then he would enjoy his vacation that Naruto granted him with. Though the family had finally stumbled upon the Leaf Village. Naruto happily walking in, he couldn't wait to see their friends, but he needed to get the children home and cleaned up, maybe a nap too since they had been traveling all day. Mommy, I'm tired, Micah said, yawning, and Naruto smiled. Sure, we can definitely take a nap. We have to shower first, we've been walking all day, sweetie, Naruto said, ruffling his hair. When they stepped into their clan home, they almost was spotted by their friend group. They missed one another by a minute. As Neji and Naruto were getting showers and change, napping with their children, their friends were setting up the napping room in decoration. It wasn't until about 5 meters that when the party for Shikadai was taking place, that is when Naruto and his family woke up. Neji was playing with Micah, who was an early riser like his father, but Mira stayed snuggled into her mother, sleeping her life away as if she was a Nara. Neji, should we show the kids the napping room? Naruto said, thinking it was too late for any of their friends to be in there. Micah jumped almost immediately at the opportunity to be in another napping space. Sure, plus we could run into Gaara. I know you miss him. Naruto smiled and woke up Mira, ushering the young child awake as they put them in slippers as they walked down the clan to the room. In the room was Shikamaru and Gaara, their child Shikadai, Shino and Kiba and their daughter Hanaki, Sasuke and Karen and their daughter Sarada, Hinata and Sakura and their son Himi. Eventually the group made up with Sakura and Hinata. They even invited Tenten and Rock Lee and their son Metal Lee. The children were playing and the door opened. Happy voice were heard and a familiar voice that was known all too well. Why are we holding a party in my nap room? It went silent, but Gaara voice spoke. Artemis. Naruto smiled and opened his arms, careful not to have Gaara squeeze him before he hurt his 3rd baby. Mania, long hair looks good, Naruto said, and those two ignored everybody and caught up. It was to be expected, and so Neji took to introducing his children to everybody else while the two goddess caught up. You suck, I miss you. 6 years, Gaara said, hugging as he felt Shikadai come and snuggle into his leg. I'm sorry, but who is this little shadow? Naruto squatted and looked at the spitting image of Shikamaru beside those teal eyes. Shikadai, this is Auntie Artemis. Naruto smiled softly. You can call me Artemis or Naruto. Naruto said, and the boy was thinking but spoke. Mommy calls you Artemis, so why Naruto? Naruto looked up at Gaara and saw him shaking his head before Naruto nodded. You can ask your mommy and daddy. However, did you meet you cousins? Naruto asked. The child nodded, but something told him to stay by his aunt and mother. Naruto held his arms out. The 4-year-old came running to them. Naruto picked up the child and continued talking to that Gaara. Gaara chuckled and claimed that the energy they gave off was motherly. Thought Naruto had another idea as he saw the other children come and be in the area of Naruto and Gaara. I think it's more along the lines of godly. Naruto said as he watched Gaara pick up Mika, but the other children sat near and or nuzzled into the two goddess legs. Capturing souls everywhere you go. Neji said, looking to his wife as a child party became a goddess worshipping party. Naruto smiled and patted Shikadai, who was promptly falling asleep. It is my job as a goddess, Neji. Naruto said, as the group of teens that group up together started catching up as the adults they have turned out to be. That's all for my now. If you enjoy, then please like, share and do comments.